morning and welcome to the future, otherwise known as episode 62 of Tomorrow's World Audit Time. Evening, Mark.
Evening, Russ. How are you?
Oh, very good, Mark. I was just thinking, I think this is my favourite time of the year, Mark. This late April sort of May period. It's lovely. You got I think nature's at its best. The weather's just turning, but it's not too hot. Far too many bank holidays for some weird reason. It's King's Day at the weekend. It's just lots to look forward to, Mark. I think
that's really lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
I always like this time of year. We had a slightly early Easter, but normally Easter's in the middle. It always feels. And any weekend now, somebody is going to invite you around for barbecue. It's be absolutely delightful. And then the second the sun disappears behind any building, we're all going to freeze our nuts off because it's not actually summer. It's just pretend summer. It is nice though. I do like it. I do, but I like it because you can go out. You can still wear a jacket.
And that smell of sausages on the breeze as well as you're walking down the street.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. Also, this time of year, Mark, it's April Fool's month, isn't it? April. It's still currently April. It is, of course.
It is. It's true. I suppose it is April Fool month.
It is the month of April Fool's, Mark.
It is.
I like to set it. Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. Basically, it is April Fool's month all the time, isn't it? Because the way the world is these days. But yes, so I looked into this, and because I wondered, I thought there must have been some episodes that broadcast on the 1st of April. Did Tomorrow's World ever address it? And it turns out they did, Mark. They did. 1992.
I was gobsmacked. Yeah.
1992. They had a special April Fool's episode on the 1st of April. It's quite an interesting episode, isn't it? Because what struck me is that it's a bit like the Christmas quiz in a way, in that they're lying to us. Yes. But in this case, the setup is that only one of the things they're doing this episode is a lie, as opposed to it being all lies and one truth. It's all truths and one lie. And it's a whole...
They don't show us the same thing and give multiple reasons. They're just showing us something, telling us what it is. And one of the segments they are saying is an April Fool's designed to trick and tease.
Yes, yeah. And I have to say, I was fooled because, well, we'll get into it, but I thought...
You were fooled for the exact same reasons I was fooled.
I thought one of them was a fool.
Yes.
And it might perhaps be the case that it was not a fool. No. But that's a very interesting story to tell later on. What's interesting in this episode is that I don't know whether... I wonder, because they don't really play it very straight in this episode today. There is a lot of mugging. There is a lot of larking about, which I guess suits the episode. But then it makes everything seem like it...
I know.
I don't know whether it would be better if they had really done it all straight.
Yeah.
So that it was really difficult to work out what the fool was, because their presentation was completely normal. You know what I mean? Because their presentation. I do.
No, I do.
They are larking about.
And as I said to you, because I added it in at the end, I do feel sorry for some of the people involved in the segments of the items that are true, because they were contacted by one of the BBC's flagship science programs. They took time out of their, no doubt, busy lives to allow the BBC, in some cases, travel quite a distance to film, to demonstrate what it is they were talking about, which, that's a really fun, exciting thing to have happen. And then, no doubt when they were following up, said, just out of interest, when's it going to be shown? They said, oh, great news. It's going to be in our April Fool's special. And we're going to pretend like you're idiots. And I felt like I didn't like that. It actually left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth.
But it is
some of them are quite serious.
Yes,
it is a fun episode.
It is certainly a fun
I'm just too empathetic. You know me, Russ. I'm all heart.
Of course. No, there's plenty in this. I had a good time researching it. There was some stuff that I found really interesting, actually. I guess because
keep it to yourself.
because they've had to look for things that might not be believable, and they've got a good range of stuff. So yeah, good fun. I was now going to regale you with the story of April Fool's Day and why. Yeah. How it came about, what its origins are. But turns out no one knows.
Oh!
there's
okay.
There's a whole host of people have tried to put forward explanations for it. But then almost immediately somebody comes up with a counter argument saying that can't be what the thing is. It doesn't make any sense. So somebody suggested it was a Chaucerian thing, and then somebody said, well, no, that can't be the case because it's the wrong date. And then somebody else said it was to do with the French celebrating New Year's in April, but then no, that doesn't sound right. And then somebody said it was something to do with Hebrews, like Noah's Ark and stuff like that. And then somebody else points out that Hebrews, like the sort of Jewish people back in biblical times didn't even use the same calendar, so it couldn't possibly. They didn't have April then. So, and somebody else said it might be to do with some sort of Roman festival, because there's a Roman festival called Hilaria, which it was, was all fun and games. But then that ended before April. So so no one knows. It just came about. But it's very widespread in Western countries. They do it all over the place. Apparently in France.
Do you enjoy it? Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, in France they stick paper fish to people's backs. Do you know that? But anyway.
French.
Yes, great French larks. I used to enjoy it when it was a novelty. So when it was we just had newspapers and telly, then it was always a bit of fun to try and spot the April Fool's story in the paper.
So when we had a monoculture and we could all be tricked at the same time, you were in.
I was in, that was a bit fun. But, I mean, but these days, like, the internet is basically 90% bollocks. It's just a giant misinformation machine. So it takes a bit of the spark out of it, doesn't it, Mark? Really,
it does. I do kind of increasingly view it more trepidatiously, and it's not because I'm thinking like, I'm gonna have to avoid being tricked. It's more I don't know. There's a tone about some people on April Fool's Day that I just really grates me. Like there's a kind of a smug glee that some people have that and it's normally like you go on Instagram and you follow some comedians and there's like they'll have the one thing like, I'm delighted to announce my whatever, and you go like, it's wearisome. So the only things that get me going anymore in April Fools are the actual serious announcement from a company who've forgotten what day it is. So everyone thinks they're lying. And you think like, and then every now there's like a really niche micro April Fools that someone's put effort into that you think like, that's brilliant because that's going to really wind up some people. And actually this year, the one I saw that kind of went mini viral was the guy sharing his email from the Glastonbury Festival saying how delighted he was that he'd won the ticket. And quick, get on now, the window's closing and everything like that. It's so brilliant because, it's one of those things where like, this is a fallow year, but there are some people going, oh no, and I just thought, I like that. That was fun. That's fun to me.
Yeah, and I guess the fact that it's a corporate bandwagon as now, that's a bit annoying as well, isn't it? Like,
that's when it ended, right? When it became corporate.
I didn't mind. I know when Do It All was selling rainbow paint or something like that. But now you get things like get like defence contractors and stuff for like releasing April Fools. You think some people should just take things seriously.
Shh, you need to keep quiet.
Anyway, I think Tomorrow's World gets away with it because it is still an informative episode. They've not taken it too far. No,
and the twist is fun.
Yeah,
and actually quite, for a show like this, it's appropriate.
Yes, yeah. So, shall we tuck in? Shall we tuck into our big bowl of April Fool?
Ooh, yeah, that's true. That is a dessert.
Tonight we've got rather a special edition of Tomorrow's World. After all, we are live on rather a special day.
So beware, because all may not be as it seems.
One of the stories in tonight's show will be pushing the truth a little too far. But watch carefully, because it might not be the one you think.
Have a balloon.
Thank you.
There are 12 stories in the show tonight, and at the end of the programme you'll get a chance to vote for the one you think is our little April Fool. But I warn you, it won't be easy to spot. From Italy, there's top tips for snail farmers, a paint to tame the unruly mollusk. From Japan, a sneak preview of research into next century's spaceflight.
There's a leap into the sporting unknown using the world's most powerful supercomputer, and a sporting leap for the unknowing using the world's most powerful mousetrap.
Well, we're straight in, Mark, with the foolishness. Were you fooled by Kate's introduction there?
Where she's clearly standing normally and upright? I was, Russ, obviously.
Remember Kate with the bright red puffy face and the scrunched up shoulders.
And her tiny Clive Anderson style neck? I do. That's exactly how I remember her.
But she must be standing the right way up, Mark, because everything behind her is the correct way up. So that's the only way.
I know. I was confused.
Yeah, no, lovely little business there. That's Kate is obviously upside down, but being filmed upside down, so she looks the correct way up. She struggling to get her words out because presumably she's really confusing. And then Howard,
blood's rushing to her head, right? Yeah.
Howard comes in, apparently upside down. They do a little balloon exchange to really fool us. And then introduce the program. I actually thought Kate looks a bit like Gilbert Gottfried, the weird voiced comedian. What I like is when they spin it around to show that actually it's Howard. Howard's the correct way up. He's actually turns out he's been squishing his neck in as well, and then he goes clear, and he looked. Yeah, that's good. I think this episode is absolutely really Howard in his element, isn't it? This is
he's having a great time. He's even got an American cowboy style belt.
yeah.
He's living his best life.
He's just sorting around, cracking funny. Yeah,
cracking wise. Yeah.
Yes, but first, the latest in golf gear from the States. My very own personal robot caddy. Wherever I go, it'll follow too. And if I stop, it's constantly at my beck and call because it's following an infrared transmitter here. And not only does it know where the signal's coming from, it can also tell the strength of the signal. Because if I get too far away from it, the signal gets weaker and the caddy speeds up to try and catch up with me, don't you? But stop, and he keeps a respectful 5 feet away. And if I feel that he's still crowding my swing, I can always put him in his place with a remote control. He's in good performance today, though. Well, he really is the perfect caddy, He always does what he's told, and he never says a word, which is good, because his club selection's terrible.
It's a golf invention, Mark. And
it is.
And what's Agnew's maxim on golf inventions?
Shall I say it again for the second time this year? No sport or entertainment is as brilliantly and efficiently calibrated to liberate money from principally men than golf, Russ.
Absolutely, yes.
See they here.
Yes. Well, I have to say this. I think this is quite a neat little idea. I could imagine wandering around the golf course with it. Basically, you've just got a little tracker in your pocket, and then the golf trolley follows you around like an obedient pet. I mean, it'd be quite good. I'd probably put a little face and ears on it, maybe.
Of course you would, Russ. Yeah, because you love cute things.
I bet if it was on a Japanese golf course, they'd put some sort of cartoon face on it, wouldn't they? You don't think?
Yes, they would. No, they would. But then, I mean, everything does, including
like
an incredibly serious thing. And they do love golf, yeah. I have to say, my heart did drop slightly when I first saw this because, I mean, it is so clearly a real thing. That I was thinking, are they trying to pretend? Are we supposed to think this isn't a real thing when it quite clearly is exactly what golf people want? Yeah. Because the whole point of golf is that the idea is that you're supposed to be doing exercise, right? Like and part of the exercise is picking up a bag and carrying it, or at the very least pulling or pushing the bag on a little buggy.
Yeah.
And so the idea of having something following you around so that you have to do jack all work whatsoever. Of course they love it. It's like, so I didn't understand. It's like, I don't understand. Am I supposed to think that this is in a shout of being, a trick?
Yeah, because I mean,
bloody expensive one of the BBC.
I was going to say, because if it was a trick, it would mean the BBC had invented a viable product.
Yes, that's true.
For the purposes of this episode,
100% is not what the BBC is supposed to be doing at all.
No. I was wondering because one thing I've always noticed is that if you see a British golf course or a European golf course, everyone is largely carrying their bags, or if they're a bit lazier, they'll be wheeling their bags around.
Yeah,
but you almost never see somebody whizzing around on one of those golf buggies.
No.
Whereas if you watch American films and TV,
it's all they're doing, right?
All they're ever doing is whizzing around on those little buggies all the time.
In fact, they're basically driving up to the ball and almost like stepping out and hitting it and then getting back in again. Yeah.
So I did wonder, is there some sort of animosity between this? Because there's a classic golfing animosity between Europe and America, isn't there? Because of the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I wondered whether it was a similar thing with golf. And apparently, there is. Yeah, there is a bit of a. Basically, Europeans consider golf carts
cheating.
They just consider it things for
Pathetic,
fat lazy Americans.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I went online and there's a few things on like Reddit and golf forums and like people saying they've been on holiday, an American been on holiday to Europe, and they're gone, why is it that everyone like walks around the course, this and that, and then there's just this diatribe, because we're not fat and lazy. And then like occasionally in America will come back and say, yeah, but if you were going around in the golf cart, the vibrations would rattle the few remaining teeth out of your mouth. So yeah, great. I quite enjoy animosity between Europeans and Americans in arguments online.
Yes, it is fun though. It is increasingly more serious.
Yeah.
Consequential.
You'll be shocked to know, Mark.
Oh, let me get my shocked face ready.
That these are widely available. They're everywhere. You can buy all sorts of companies make these. I looked for found what was regarded as one of the best in the business. The Axe Glow E5 remote follow me golf trolley. How much do you reckon? How much would you shell out for that? It's pretty similar to what Howard's got there. Similar.
So the Axe Glow remote follow me e-golf buggy. Is what you say golf's called?
Axe Glow E5 remote follow me golf trolley. E5. Bearing in mind, it includes a free beverage holder and umbrella holder and a belt clip for the little remote control thing.
Okay. Oh my god, I literally have no idea. So let me think it through in my head. I won't talk you through my thoughts. It's one of those things where, like, obviously it's not going to be cheap because, I mean, that defeats the purpose of playing golf. You're supposed to be paying money for this stuff. £1,000 seems like too much. 200 seems like not enough. £720.
£1,699.
That's ridiculous. That's so stupid.
Great reviews. Got 5-star reviews across the board, though. Absolutely. I love it. And one thing I did notice in the reviews, a lot of people saying about how impressed other people down the golf club were by it.
Oh, here we go.
When you think, oh, there we go. That's the real reason to buy it, isn't it? It's not to say that the real reason is to impress people down the golf club.
Of course.
But obviously, those have been around for years. 10 a penny. But we live in the age of AI now, Mark, don't we? We live in the age of AI.
We do, yeah.
So, of course, they've bolted AI, or their version of AI, onto golf trolleys. So, there's a couple of them. There's the Robber Neo, which launched on Kickstarter.
Robber Nero's following.
They literally launched it on Kickstarter, and it almost immediately raised 6,000% of its funding target. God. And then there's also, I found another one called the ICSI, and I preferred the they're basically the same. They got the same features, but I preferred the ICSI because although both had adverts, the Robber and Neo one was almost entirely made by AI, and the voiceover.
Oh, the
voiceover was one of those AI voiceovers, and they'd not even checked it, so that whenever the word putting was used, the AI voiceover was just saying putting. As in, because it's obviously spelt the same, the two words spelt the same. And you thought, you're not going to put that enough effort to check the voiceover on this product that you're selling for, let me check, £4,500. Jesus Christ. Then I'm not going to advertise you on my podcast, but I will just show you a clip of the ICSI in action.
Oh, please. Yes. I mean, if they do want to sponsor us.
What if I told you that having a professional caddy is no longer the monopoly of the elites? But it could be delivered to your door.
You would say that we are mad. Well, maybe we are.
ICSI is not a golf trolley. It is your caddy reinvented. ICSI navigates the golf course to always be in the right place at the right time. Using his GPS, with his embedded camera, ICSI knows you and follows you. ICSI monitors your game, so you make the best possible decisions. And if you miss that swing, we'll tell you why. Oh, and yeah, about that ball, we've got you covered.
Welcome to the world of ICSI. We have made it possible.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting, isn't it, Mark? That's
soon available.
Yeah, I think it might be an old advert. From what I can tell, they are currently, you can buy them. But yeah, they are between $4,000 and $5,000.
Gosh.
But yeah, they obviously, the GPS mapping, LiDAR sensors, cameras, and they can follow you around. They navigate the golf course themselves. They can avoid obstacles, analyse your swing. They track the ball, and they even recommend what club to use.
So why bother playing? Just get your Ixie to do it and sit in the pub.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it impresses the other fellas down the golf club, doesn't it, Mike? That's the important thing.
The one thing I was hoping to see when the female voiceover says something along the lines of "balls, we've got you covered," I was genuinely hoping that like the Ixie would have like a little cloaca and just lay a ball on the course. I don't know why. I was thinking like that would impress me if it just shat out a ball.
Well, you'll notice, Mark, that she did refer to the caddy as a he all the way through.
Yes, which I really hate, but go on. Yeah. Not just the sexism, but just the idea of kind of trying to engender some kind of sense of life to something like that.
I'm not going to take golf tips from a woman, Mark.
No, lady. Good day, sir.
They've only just been allowing them in the clubhouse recently. Well, yeah, no. So we're going to I think we can chalk that one down as real, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people at home, feel free to play along.
Oh, please do. Yeah. Put your hands up if you think it's fake. All right. Should we go next?
Yep.
The luxury of cashmere, and unfortunately the expense. Expensive because for a single sweater you need to collect the belly hair from 6 cashmere goats. But now the Japanese have made artificial cashmere from ordinary sheep's wool. They use microbes which they found in hot springs, and genetic engineers are able to make them produce a particular enzyme. Normally, the fibres of sheep's wool have hard scales sticking out, but shampooing with the new enzyme dissolves away most of those scales and leave the fibres smooth. This gives the sheep's wool the characteristic soft, silky feel of cashmere. So cashmere could become more affordable if you've got the yen for it.
Got any cashmere clothes, Mark?
Yes, I have some cashmere jumpers, Russ.
Yeah, no.
They're not as expensive as they used to, I hasten to add, but yes, I do have some.
Oh, really? Do you think it's real cashmere? Do you think it's treated, dodgy Chinese cashmere that she's talking about here?
Fake, dodgy Japanese. No, I'd say they're real
Japanese
cashmere.
or Chinese?
Yeah.
So dodgy, so dodgy.
She said Japanese.
Oh, she said Japanese.
She talked about you have to have the yen for it.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, no, you think of the yuan. No, I do have cashmere. It is, to be fair, it is pretty good, Russ. It is light and warm.
Yeah.
Do you?
The one item of cashmere clothing I owned, I bought in the Sue Ryder charity shop on Ecclesall Road in Sheffield just over 20 years ago. And for $5, it was a jacket. It looked like a tweed jacket, but it was made. It was Hugo Boss. It was made of cashmere. It was beautiful, Mark. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my flat in London had the worst moth infestation of anywhere you can possibly imagine. And my God, the moths like cashmere, Mark. They love it. It's like, I've never known. It's basically, me putting that jacket in my flat is essentially like lowering a cow carcass into a piranha-infested Amazon river. Like that's basically what happened. All that was left was the lining. It was just completely devoured.
Every moth in Clerkenwell was drawn to you, really.
Yeah, absolutely tragic.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That is heartbreaking.
Although that was before I knew that Hugo Boss was a Nazi company.
I mean, there is that, isn't there?
So you know, swings and roundabouts, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but you're not there, Russ. You're not. You didn't deserve that.
No, that's true. But maybe if I'd kept wearing it would have turned me into a Nazi, Mark. You never know. Maybe the clothing has that power.
That's true. What a relief. What a relief it was gobbled up.
Yeah. Cashmere, Mark. Mm-hmm. So this is. I mean, it seems like a great idea. Although I would argue, I think probably there's a thing. So this is basically some sort of enzyme wash that they put over normal sheep's wool.
Yeah. Treats
the fibres, makes him softer, turns it into a cashmere-like product. I wonder though. You're not going to sell it as cashmere, are you? Because there's clearly all sorts of purity laws for that. So
certainly not in Europe, anyway. Yeah.
So how well would it sell? Because are people paying for the fact that it is cashmere? And as soon as it's not cashmere, you might as well just buy the fleece, won't you?
Yeah, I suppose. You're such good at marketing, aren't you? I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, like, the things you don't have to call it cashmere. You can call it something else. You can make up a term and imply that it's as good as cashmere, you know, and sell it for half the price or whatever, you know.
Slashmere?
I think it's would you say smashmere?
Slashmere.
Oh,
as in the price is slashed.
Oh, now you're talking. You see? Now you are good at marketing. This is like the Mr. Buy Right cashmere jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this also falls into the category of like. So we've now had a golf trolley that is clearly real, and this, which is like, yeah, it's probably real, isn't it?
yeah.
Again, let's not lose sight of the fact that one of these is a lie, and we have to define which one. And it's like, this is pretty. You know, why is this here?
Although
like
if it
reasonable,
if it were real, Mark, I put it to you. If it were real,
you posit. What do you posit, Russ?
In a normal segment where it's real, would they wheel a taxidermied goat past the presenter in the background? Because that's what they do here.
That is by far and away the best bit of this segment. They just pull it across screen in the background. It almost kind of stops, looks at her, and then they move it screen. Which I enjoyed. An awful lot.
That's great. I wish the goat had turned up in more segments, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I mean, props to the props department that they were able to get hold of a suitable taxidermied goat to... I mean, where's that? Why have they got taxidermied goats just available to...
Because there's the magic of the BBC. Yeah. It's probably it'll be on Generation Game next week.
But yeah,
I do agree with your observation, though. No, I was going to say, I do agree, which is like the central concept of this, or at least how we pitched it, is wrong. Which is, I think she says, cashmere could become more affordable. This isn't cashmere. This is normal wool becoming more cashmere-y.
Yes, yeah,
and that's not the same thing. So it's just really odd the way they pitched it. It's like, because actually, no, it is impressive. It's something to celebrate. What it isn't is cashmere.
Yes,
because that is something else entirely, and that's not going to change, and there'll always be a thing. And as you're right, like, you couldn't sell it as cashmere because it's not fucking cashmere.
Yeah.
What it is, though, is better wool, but
yes,
or more comfortable. Yeah.
Because I don't. Well, I don't wear woolly jumpers because I'm always too warm. So
yes, that's one of the ways you and I differ.
But
I'm wearing a jumper right now. In fact,
back when I was younger, and when I was a kid, and I did wear woolly jumper. Having an itchy woolly jumper was horrible. I didn't like that.
Oh God, yeah.
But you can't buy cashmere clothes for kids, can you? Really? But cashmere, a little bit about that. Obviously. Weirdly, it's called cashmere and it's named after Kashmir, but they're not spelled the same. But that's because when it became first popularised, it was back in the day when we used to just anglicise everything. Because it was Queen Victoria and Empress Josephine started wearing cashmere shawls, and that made and everywhere they'd imported from Kashmir. So obviously that made them sort of glamorous and exotic and expensive, and people really got into it then. But actually, most cashmere is not made in Kashmir now. It's made in China, Mongolia and Afghanistan. And if you actually get one for Kashmir, it's normally Pashmina, not Kashmir. So that's confusing. China produces about 20,000 tonnes a year, Mongolia 9,000 tonnes. And what it is basically these goats live in the cold. They've got two fleeces. They've got an itchy outer fleece and then a lovely, snuggly, you like the lining, don't you? You like the lining. Snuggly inner fleece. And what they normally do, there's two ways of getting that out. You can either just shear the whole goat, or what they actually tend to do is they just wait until the goat is naturally molting in the spring, and then they just comb it out of them because then you don't get all of the wool all mixed. You don't get the coarse wool mixed up with the soft wool, so you just comb it out of them. But it's quite a long process because it takes about 2 weeks for them to fully molt. So it's like a painstaking process. Part of the reason why it's expensive, but it's currently at the moment we're slap bang in the middle of Kashmir goat molting season, Mark. So, I mean,
golly,
if you want to save some money on Kashmir, get out there with your combs.
Get out into the wild goat-filled fields of East London.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody in England has got heard of Kashmir.
Oh, yeah, no, annoyingly, someone probably does.
Some hipster. Or some hipster's grown a double beard and they're combing it out from underneath it.
I might ask Tarquin if he does have one, actually.
But yeah, the global cashmere clothing market is worth £4.2 billion in 2025. So there's a lot of money in it. But on the opposite side of these things, in Scotland, they don't have any cashmere goats, but they've got a lot of sheep, which they grow for lamb or food. those sheep, of course, they're really tough because they're grown on mountains. They've got really wiry, horrible, tough wool. So it turns out that the University of Edinburgh has been doing a project very similar to what Carmen's talking about here. They've been working on an enzyme that they can treat Scottish wool with to make the fibres finer and turn it into a nicer product to try and revive the Scottish wool industry. And that is currently happening. That is currently in the process. They started doing that in 2022 and it's still ongoing, according to the University of Edinburgh. So I don't know how far the Japanese got with it, but it's certainly currently still happening in Scotland, Mark, this thing. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, well, fingers crossed.
Oh, we're going to say that one's true as well, aren't we?
I think we'll say that one's true.
Laughter. An involuntary emotional response, normally an expression of lively amusement. But it seems that Laughing Boy here is doing more than just enjoying himself. There's growing evidence that our bodies have a special set of chemical reactions which snap into action whenever we laugh. Levels of some crucial hormones fall, while others become inflated. But all the changes seem to do us good. Hospitals in America have been tossing ideas like this around for more than 10 years, and now well over 100 employ professional entertainers to cheer their patients and speed their recovery.
Why did the circus clown go to the doctor? Because he felt funny!
This is Handsworth in West Birmingham, but this is no ordinary shop front. You see, the people in there are having a whale of a time, and all at the expense of the local health authority. See, it's Britain's first laughter clinic.
Isn't it a good feeling now? This is when the relaxation happens. If you just pick up the mirror and get acquainted with yourself, introduce yourself to yourself, and when you're ready, put a smile on your face. Okay, you might not ever have seen yourself smile before. If you just pick up your pieces of paper, we're going to look at two concepts today.
The thing is that when you fall about on the floor laughing, the levels of your stress hormones fall as well. Now, that's things like cortisol, which knocks back the levels of your white blood cells, and adrenaline, which makes your heart beat faster and raises your blood pressure and can literally make your hair stand on end. Now, stress hormones damp down the immune system. Laughing, and so suppressing those hormones, helps that immune system build itself up, thus helping to fight infection. And in fact, one study has shown that the immunological benefit doesn't just come from laughing. Just being vaguely amused will help.
It was after the first session, actually. I thought I'll try this smiling therapy, and I got my pencil and I went round Tesco's grinning at everybody, and I was surprised, I got smiles back.
On the long term, it helps you change your attitude of mind,
Gotta try something. We've got to get out of the rut somewhere.
I want your last time now. Put a smile on your face. Okay, again, get acquainted with yourself. We've all got some funny cheekbones, yeah? Take a look at the cheekbones. That's important. And then again, I want you in your own time just to allow yourself to develop that smile into a little chuckle.
And isn't it nice to know that as well as enjoying ourselves, we're also doing ourselves a little bit of good? Because who knows, with the NHS getting in on the act, it might not be long before, as well as our pills and potions, we might find ourselves getting a prescription for some laughter.
This is the one segment, Mark, I would have happily done without, frankly. It was unpleasantly filmed in every way. I don't know. It didn't feel right in a way. There's something
unsettling.
It was unsettling. No, it's not really not. And it just felt like we were going, oh, can you believe these people are doing this thing?
Yeah. Well, I can, but yeah, it is, as I mean, it's patronising.
Yeah,
people, normal people who just want to feel better and Yeah, and they even describe this. Well, look, obviously we don't know if laughter therapy has made it into the future, Russ, or whether this is a April Fool's. But the people that they interview and John Diamond goes to visit in this health centre are perfectly lovely, decent people, clearly looking for some kind of therapy to make them feel better. And this segment really kind of tries to throw them under the bus, really. I don't know. Just also, I hate fucking clowns. They're horrible. They're dreadful.
Everyone hates clowns. And this clown they've chosen, I mean, fair play to them. They've chosen a Brummie clown, which I think is very suited to the fact that this place is in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But we're right up close in his face, and he's got a horrible set of yellow chompers, which is so reminiscent of It, because one of the whole things about It is that he's consistently got really horrible chompers, isn't it? It's like, I don't know, do you reckon
it's just unpleasant.
Because the It TV series, when they come out about a year or two before this, do you think they deliberately chose a bloke with bad teeth?
Yeah, 91 maybe.
To try it.
Oh, it's so unpleasant. And the thing is, like, clowns aren't funny.
No.
Their laughs aren't funny. Even at this point, they are now associated with, actually probably because of It, right? Which I think you're right, but if it hasn't come out, if it's come out, it wasn't that long ago. It's like that idea of the scary killer clown is really prevalent. I don't know. I really, really hate this segment so much. But there's a lot to talk about, I suppose.
They're also just a bit noncy, aren't they, clowns? Is there an element of that to it?
Well, so as you know from the notes, quite recently I watched a really interesting video on YouTube about the kind of the Anglo-American view of the clown, kind of as summed up by It. But also there's the episode of Buffy, isn't there, where people's phobias come to life, and one of them is a clown. And I think the video was on the back of the recent It TV series, Welcome to Londonderry or whatever it's called. The theory that they were putting forward that I thought was quite interesting was that clowns are not children's entertainment. They never have been children's entertainment. Britain and America are moderately unique in that at some point in the last 150 years, the true meaning of what a clown is and does was kind of ignored or lost, and people started thinking that they were suitable for children. The clown, the jester figure, was always was adult entertainment. It was satirizing power, often to the face of power, but also it was a discourse on the adult life. That idea of like them being miserable with the smile painted on is talking to a lot of people's understanding, their known experience of what it means to be an adult, right? But once they kind of, the Victorians, I assume it was the Victorians, could have decided that, this is nonsense, this isn't for us, this it has to be for kids. It's like railroading, like, a wild animal into a kid's party and assuming it's just going to sit there and take the petting. It's like the whole concept of the clown is not childish, it's not for children. So, and kids, I think, pick up on that kind of curious juxtaposition, unsettling juxtaposition. Clowns are supposed to be unsettling, but the thing is, you saw them as a child. They were thrown at you as a child, and then they were screaming in your face with their yellowy teeth, and that they are kind of miserable figures deliberately. And it went on to kind of go again to posit this idea that clowns especially on the continent, but also kind of places, like French Canada, have maintained their position as really respected artists and people who are kind of using their art to talk about, the world as it is now and the life as it is now. And actually being a clown is an incredibly respected role.
Yeah,
which is where we get things like Cirque du Soleil. That's clowning elevated, and obviously incredibly expensive. And if you've ever seen it live, it's nothing if not spectacular. And that that is what clowning has become. It's incredibly big in mostly the French-speaking countries. But weirdly, Britain and the UK decided clowns could no longer do what they did before, and they were just only suitable for kids' entertainment. And as a result, generations of children have grown up into adults fearing clowns. And so obviously then the killer clown, the sad killer clown became this kind of totemic figure in horror stories and kind of stuff like that. And obviously not helped by, was it
John Wayne Gacy, wasn't it?
John Wayne Gacy obviously being a clown.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting video. Really
blotted a
interesting.
copy
And it
book of
helped.
it.
But yeah, it was fascinating because you go like, yeah, why is it a thing? Why are we scared of clowns? It's like it's because it's something from the adult world that is thrust upon you as a child. You're told this is for you. You will find this entertaining, and of course, it's not for you.
No.
And as a result, now because it's almost like if you were to try and set up a kind of a PR operation for clowning, like, you're kind of screwed because no one's going to accept it as because we're all as adults. You're intrinsically fearful of clowns, and more importantly, of people who choose to be clowns.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Voluntarily becoming a clown.
Yeah.
Check his heart.
What's that all about? You freak.
Well, you'll be delighted to know then, Mark, that according to the industry body Clowns International, Clowns International is, of course, there's that thing about how if you become a registered clown, you have to get an egg painted.
You have to register your fake. Yeah. They've got the place in London, do they?
So that's them. In 28, I don't know what the figures are now, but the last figures I saw were 2018, and there are only 100 registered clowns in the UK. When in the 80s there was almost 1,000, so that's a precipitous drop in the number of clowns in the UK. So at that rate, Mark, they should be extinct fairly soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. The vice president of Clowns International said in response to this news, he said, "It's just not cool to have a clown at a party anymore. It used to be. But now it's all DJs and paintball and theme parties and so on." He's right. It was all DJs and paintball, I find. But
it was. But obviously, we all remember when it was cool to have a clown at your party.
Yeah. So this health shop I couldn't find, but they do. Handsworth does still have has a health and happiness hub. They don't do laughter therapy, but they do creative things with people and arts and crafts and wellness and all that malarkey. We, of course, did cover briefly laughter therapy in our episode that was entirely about laughter, Mark.
Oh, yes.
Kieran Prenderville.
Yeah.
That included some close-ups of people laughing.
It did.
But they weren't clowns. They were just funny-faced old men, as far as I remember.
Yes. That's exactly correct.
So
we did. Threatening.
So I won't dwell on that too much, but it's suffice to say there are loads of laughter therapists these days. There's ones that offer like corporate team building days, which I'm very glad that my company doesn't do corporate team days, because the idea of having to do some sort of forced laughter thing with your co-workers sounds like
organised fun.
That sounds like hell on earth, doesn't it?
Awful.
To me, I'd like to know what benefits there are of going to a therapist compared to going to a comedy club and watching an actual professional comedian make you laugh. Yep. See, that I would prefer to do that. If the goal is just to laugh, I'd rather have the experience of going and seeing a comedian than sit in a brightly lit room with a load of other depressed people trying to looking at myself in the mirror, which is kind of what's going on here. You know what I mean?
I do. I suppose it wouldn't be therapy. If you were going to I suppose it needs to be repeatable and kind of you need to be able to plot the benefits of what you're doing. Otherwise, how are you supposed to get money from the NHS to do this?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Anyway, the only other thing I wanted to mention was at the very end there, John Diamond holds up a little novelty thing. I'm sure we've all seen them before.
Yeah,
it's like a little drawstring bag with a face on it, and then when you press it, it laughs. And I wonder if there's anything interesting about those. Turns out it's called a lack sack. It's a German invention. It was invented in 1968, right? And its inventor, Walter Thiel, became a millionaire from it because, well, as of 2007, so 20 years ago, he'd sold 120 million of them. So presumably by now he's sold 150 million of them at least. But the interesting thing about it is that when he invented it, he obviously needed a recording of a laugh inside it. So he held a laughing competition.
Ooh.
And whoever won it would get a prize. It was won by a tax inspector from Nuremberg.
Okay.
And Walter the inventor, said to him, "Okay, I'll record your laugh for my invention. I will give you either 1,000 marks cash now, or you can have 1 pfennig for every lack sack I sell."
Oh my God.
Of course, the tax inspector took the 1,000 marks.
Of course he did.
So I did a bit of currency conversion.
Yep.
If he'd taken the pfennig per bag sold and they sold 150 million bags, he would have earned €3 million by now.
That's not bad, is it? That's a nice
That's
amount.
not bad. Must be absolutely...
I suspect he's no longer with us. But his kids must be furious.
Yeah. Every time they hear one of those go off.
Do you think...
You're not laughing now.
Do you think they ever, like, especially after he died, I'm assuming he's died, do you think they ever, like, pull out a lack sack and just, like, press it and go, oh,
there he is, yeah.
Well,
Like
because he was a tax inspector in Nuremberg, they go like, when did he ever laugh?
Anyway, right, next thing.
Now, a shining future for the science fiction fantasy of the space age, laser beams. One of the aims of the American Star Wars program was to use laser weapons to blow up enemy rockets. But there's a theory that instead of destroying rockets, lasers could be used to actually launch them into space. It's been a dream of scientists, and a recent report from Japan indicates that that dream could become a reality. One of the problems with conventional rockets is that they need an enormous amount of fuel. Not just fuel to carry the tiny capsule into space, but fuel to carry the fuel that the rocket will use on the way. So how do you get a satellite into space but leave all of that fuel on the ground? Well, look at this. It's a sealed glass bulb with a windmill inside. Now, if I expose a laser, the windmill rotates. The laser is beaming energy into the bulb, heating the air behind the vanes. The air expands and pushes them round. And it doesn't matter how far away the windmill is. The second one, over there, is being driven by the laser too. So you can drive an object further away, even into orbit, while the energy source stays here on Earth. The Americans have always been very keen on the idea. In fact, NASA have been funding some development work. Their concept spaceship, codenamed Lightcraft, would use a cone-shaped reflector at the back to concentrate the energy from an Earth-based laser. The air behind Lightcraft would be superheated, expand rapidly, and push the vehicle into orbit. And to prove how seriously they're taking this idea, they've launched this. It's the official project badge. But the Japanese have bypassed all the embroidery. We've managed to obtain film from the National Aerospace Laboratory, which shows what appears to be their first successful prototype laser engine. Never seen before in the West, the film shows a laboratory setting with pulses of laser light apparently driving a small craft. Obviously, that's an important breakthrough. And we have the man behind the American project on the telephone to comment on that. Professor Lake Marabou, hello.
Hello, Judith.
Professor, the Japanese are ahead of you. They are, aren't they?
Well, I want to point out this is a fascinating proof of concept experiment, but that in the States here, we've already scaled such engines to pulse energies 100 times larger.
Well, the lasers might be more powerful, but you haven't got anything to move yet. So when will you actually get Lightcraft off the ground?
Well, I reckon that within a time span of about 3 to 5 years, we'll have a prototype ready to fly to orbit. And in the future, I foresee people-sized spacecraft with cost about 1,000 times less than the space shuttle.
Sounds ambitious. Good luck and thank you very much. So, lasers might mean that we'll soon be taking holidays in space in something no bigger than a camping van.
Now, I'm not sure any single segment has ever put me through such a roller coaster than this one.
This is deeply fascinating, isn't it? Yeah.
Because it comes on, and I'm absolutely rubbing my hands together with glee because I'm going, we've got lasers. And and we've got spaceships. We've got lasers and spaceships, Mark. This is like my dream subject. And then I'm watching it, and I'm watching Judith's explanation of it, and I'm thinking, this is absolute cobblers.
Yeah.
This is like that can't possibly work. And Judith is doing such a bad job of like Judith is, it doesn't look serious at all. Like she's really mugging for the camera, especially when she suddenly walks over to a telephone, starts speaking to a man on the phone, which they never do on Tomorrow's World.
Nope.
And the man's got a weird name that looks like it's an anagram or something.
Correct.
And always,
I started trying to crack
it. Always in April Fool's things, there's somebody who's got a thing that's an anagram of April Fool or something similar. So I'm going, oh, this is all still made up. I can't believe anybody would think that this is real. Like, this is stupid. And I was kind of, I was really disappointed because that looked like it's going to be exciting. And then I researched it, Mark.
It's 100% true.
It's 100% true.
100% true, yeah.
It's all true. Everything in that is true.
I was watching this downstairs and it came on. And I can't remember, it's Josie's, but she commented on it. I said, oh yeah, no, it's an April Fool's special where one of the segments is a lie. I said, and it's clearly this. I said, they're doing exactly what liars do, which is that they're adding extraneous detail to try and pretend that the lie, because it's like every 30 seconds there was a new element that she was adding on, like a Buckaroo Dunk. And I was
she gets the little badge out. Yep. Like she said, this is the badge of the mission. Why would they do that?
We'll come back to that, because actually that was when I began to have a bit of doubt, because the badge is way too high quality to just be mocked up. But I remember thinking like, oh, it's quite a good. And then obviously, she walks over to the phone. I mean, so it begins with the idea of space station, like, oh, maybe. Then she shows the Japanese footage, which is both highly unconvincing, but also like expensively unconvincing. Yeah. I remember thinking like, that's a surprisingly good fake.
But when I saw that, I thought, well, that could be footage of anything. Because it's not really very
absolutely,
clear, it looks like it's some
which
little
is what I
vehicle
settled on
floating
again. Yeah. And then she walks over to the phone and she speaks to, Dr. Lake Mairabo?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Lake Mairabo. And I had exactly the same response you did. Probably at exactly the same time, she's like, that's an anagram.
Yeah.
And I started cracking it. And then I guess even Josie was saying, it's like, it's really unusual that she speak to someone on the phone. It's like, yeah, absolutely. It's 1992. Like, you either had them in the studio or like just talk to them via satellite. Like, and then they cut to the picture.
Telephone.
Exactly. And then the moment I thought, oh no, this could be real, was that it was a genuine American on the phone. It wasn't an actor pretending. It wasn't Howard putting on a fake accent. And then his answers were like, God, they actually sound like a convincing answer that a American scientist who probably works with the military would give. And then actually it was Lake where I remember thinking like, I genuinely was like, oh, he sounds really convincing. And that was when I kind of lost faith that because I was convinced. I was 100% convinced. It was absolutely tosh. And I was even laughing. It's like, I can't believe, another layer of lies that they're putting on. And there's more in this than anything else in the show.
And the illustrations they use are laughable.
Oh, awful. Like Space 1999 bad.
Like they can't possibly represent, but there's one illustration that's got the spaceship taking off, and it's got lights beaming into it that aren't lasers. And then there was like a thing with a stupid sound effect of like a model of it flying through space, which was like a really cheap science fiction thing. Yep. It all just looked completely made up.
I was actually kind of annoyed at how obvious they'd made the April Fools in this show. Until the end, I thought, oh no, I found Lake Mairabo quite convincing, just in terms of like, if you separate the weird way they presented him and the name.
But what that actually reminded me of is, you may remember many, many years ago, we covered Ghostwatch. And there was a bit in Ghostwatch where they'd speak to an American expert on the phone. And it really reminded me of that bit in that.
Yeah.
Except in Ghostwatch it was more convincing. But
in Ghostwatch, he either was not American, and you could tell from the accent, or he was one of those American actors that every BBC show used, which is what I was expecting this time round. And his accent was incredibly compelling and real, because I'm assuming he's a real American.
But Michael Parkinson was doing a better job of acting the fake thing in Ghostwatch than Judith Hann was of doing a real thing.
Yeah.
She's been quite.
She gives him a hard time as well, which is very.
Which never happens
exactly.
Well. Like,
no, very odd.
Such a weird way to approach it, because this is all true, but this is mental, right? I knew nothing about this. I knew absolutely nothing about this project. I never heard about it, and it's one of those things where there's two possible explanations for this why we've never heard about it, Mark. Either obviously you've got the Mulder Scully, or the Mulder option or the Scully option.
Yeah.
You got the Scully option is that actually it doesn't really work, and they've just filed it away, under prototype didn't work properly. Or the Mulder option, or it does work, but they're keeping it secret from us because it's too good. So best thing to do is I found a clip from some old TV program from the 90s where Lake Morabo explains his thing a little bit more. And it's fun because it's narrated by Captain Janeway.
And with his models, Mirabeau is gradually increasing both the scale and the detail. Within 5 years, he hopes to lift mini-satellites to orbit with a craft such as this.
This is a full-scale model of a laser-propelled light craft. The entire vehicle is as you see it here. There are no external tanks. There's a small propellant tank inside. The front end of this is where the satellite electronics go. The whole front end of this thing becomes an inlet to make this engine supplied with air on the way to orbit. The back side of this is a large parabolic mirror, highly polished, that is designed to capture the laser beam that is projected to it from the ground onto this optic, and it focuses the laser power right inside this shroud here. When that happens, an explosion occurs as the air is rapidly heated, creating a shock wave that pushes this vehicle forward. As the beam is rapidly pulsed, the engine is continuously propelled on its way to orbit. Why should astronauts have all the fun? I want to go to space. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I could afford it if it was for the price of an airline ticket. And that's why I'm developing lightcraft technology, because it would open up space to everyone.
So basically all he's doing is firing an extremely powerful laser at the underside of this specially designed vehicle. It superheats the air underneath it to I think it's 30,000 degrees. It turns into a plasma, and then the energy of that forces the ship through the air. That's why it's making that snapping noise, because it's a pulsing laser. It can't do it continuously because it'll just cut through the vehicle. But and then the thing the other thing that I thought this was fake is I thought, well, it's heating the air underneath it. What happens when it gets to space? And that is the case, that it does have a small amount of propellant in it, so that it gets lifted to the edge of the atmosphere, and then it can fire a rocket just as it's on the edge of the atmosphere to do the last step into space. And then once it's in space, you can propel things with lasers in space, because there's a thing called light pressure, which I think we've briefly mentioned before when we were talking about how to clear up satellite debris, and I mentioned the concept of laser brooms. Laser brooms to push things out of orbit. So in space, because you're not affected by air or gravity, even the lightest pressure of light can propel you. So if you continuously point a laser beam at something, it will just get faster and faster and faster. But anyway, but the thing I found disbelievable was the fact that you could get something off the ground. You could overcome gravity and air with it. But this bloke has done it. He built. So he thought it up in the mid-70s, and he got funding from NASA. He also got funding from the Star Wars project, because he was also working on that. Briefly mentioned this piece.
Ronald Reagan's,
Ronald's ray gun, as I prefer to call it.
Hey.
So basically, he spent his whole adult career being an expert in lasers and spaceships. I mean, the man has got the dream job, really. So he managed to build this prototype by the mid-90s. By the year 2000, he set a record for laser-powered flight. I assume nobody else was doing it, so you can set records if you're the only person doing this stuff. But he managed to get a ship, a prototype-like model ship, to fly for 10.5 seconds and reach 71 metres into the air. Obviously, at no point did he ever make a full-size one, because even though it would be quite a small vehicle, because the whole point of this is the reason why it's so cheap to get into space, because it doesn't have to carry its fuel, because the laser is providing the propulsion. There's only a tiny amount of fuel to get into orbit on board, but it would only weigh about 500 kilos, even with the people on it, which is nothing for a spacecraft, obviously. Wow. So that would be why it's so cheap to get into space. But they never built a full-size one. But in order to get a full-size one into space, it would require a 10 billion watt laser, 10 gigawatt laser, which they have built these days, but I don't know whether they had back then. But it was quite an undertaking, so he didn't get that far. But he reckoned that a full-size one, his calculations, a full-size one would be able to reach Mach 25, which means it would get into orbit in 3 minutes. and it would be able to get to any part of the world in under 45 minutes. That's how fast it would go. He retired in 2011, and then after he retired, sort of like kind of just everything went quiet. So you got to think, well, did it all go quiet because he was the only person pursuing this? Or did Lockheed Martin just scoop up all of his research and start? Because one of the really interesting things about it is that in order to keep it stable, they spin it at 10,000 RPM before launching it. So it literally spins around like a UFO.
Oh, stop.
So it's amazing, Mark. This man invented UFOs. He's got a proof of concept of UFOs. My only thing I've not seen an explanation for is that you've got this super powerful laser that's launching it. What happens if anything gets in the way? Because it's obviously got a line of sight.
Oh, well, like if a bird flies through it or something like that, or just a person.
Yeah, or a straight airplane or something like that.
I was thinking, it's like, what if there's like what if it's a bit of a blustery day and just starts blowing off course, you know? Even if it's spinning. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be one of the first people in it.
No. It's not, but obviously it's one of those things because it seems so futuristic and unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And you never hear about it anymore or anything like that. It's absolute fodder for, the sort of online people that think that there's the government are hiding technology from us.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Very interesting.
Very weirdly presented to us because they really they pull out all stops to make it feel like it's absolute bunk.
Yeah.
Per man.
Yeah, but he said he couldn't believe that people were still, pursuing jet propulsion. He considered that essentially a technology of 50 years ago. Like, why are we not all just using laser propulsion now? That was his thoughts on the matter. He's still alive. Might send him an email, Mark. Ask him what's going on, because he does say that he expects to have full size ones in, was it 3 to 5 years? He says
3 to 5 years. He says, yeah.
I mean, maybe they did, Mark. Maybe they did. All I'm saying, the truth is out there.
Well, when's the Captain Janeway program? When was that on TV?
It looks 90s, doesn't it?
It does, but in there he says 5 years.
Yeah, he's actually. He's already tacked on an extra 5 years.
Yeah,
it says this is 97. He's already tacked an extra 5 years.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, so 2002. Okay. Yeah. Oh, but So that rolling 5 years. That's what I'm saying. Is that yeah. Are you 5 years away now?
5 years, mate. I'll set Judith Hann on him again. Yeah, that was good anyway. Right.
Great segment. Next.
Well, spaceships may be getting smaller, but astronauts' appetites stay much the same. A trip to Mars. Well, a typical astronaut could tuck away nearly a ton of food and breathe 300,000 litres of oxygen. So how do you fit all that food, drink and oxygen necessary for the trip into something this size? Well, for starters, you could take along one of these. You get high-energy drinks and oxygen on tap. Machines like these could be used en route to create most of the food and oxygen that the astronauts would need. The recipe? Well, you take a few thousand tiny algae plants, water, switch on the lights, and breathe a lot. What you get is a high-energy drink based on the plant sugar maltose. It's basically photosynthesis. Plants, in this case the algae, use light to turn water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen. Well, the lights are powered by solar cells, and the carbon dioxide, well, that's been breathed out by the astronauts. Well, fortunately for the crew, the green scum of the algae is filtered off through all this lot. So what comes out is dinner. Now, to prove that's all it's meant to be, if I drop in this tablet, if there is sugar in there, the clear liquid should take a strong green colour. Well, while that's frothing away, I think I'll sample the brew for myself. Let's just pour some in there. Doesn't look particularly appetising, so it doesn't actually taste much better, but there's a sort of sugary tang to it. Well, let's see how the more scientific testers come along. Oh yes, there's certainly a green colour on that, so that proves it works. There is sugar in there. Now, scientists have done their sums on this. It turns out that devices like these, taking on a collection of devices, will weigh less and take up less space than the equivalent food and tanks of oxygen. Which means that if laser-powered spacecraft the size of a van do get off the ground, the astronauts needn't go hungry. OK, Howard, ready to go.
Well, enjoy your mission, Kate.
Thank you.
All right, lads, take it away. On you.
Just like to mention the lovely little running joke that we have throughout this episode, Mark, of Howard is being pursued by his golf cart throughout.
Yeah.
Which, lovely little bit of business there. I enjoyed that.
It is really good. I enjoyed that very much.
Space algae, a lot less exciting than space lasers, I would say. This is more the nuts and bolts of space travel rather than
the boring practicalities of space, right?
Yes, yeah. Algae, the food of the future. I mean, when I was looking at algae, one of the main ones that edible algae is spirulina. And I thought, oh, that's that thing they put in smoothies, isn't it? You hear about people putting spirulina in stuff, don't you? It's an algae, Mark. Didn't realise that.
What do you add it to, Russ?
I don't add it to anything, Mark. It's one of those. Obviously it has a nutritional value, but I don't think I need to add algae to my dinner.
Proudly spirulina free since 1981, right?
Yeah. Until I join the space program, I'm eschewing sprinkling algae on my dinner. I think. I mean, Kate doesn't seem to. It's not like she goes, a fine vintage, is she?
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
I imagine
she barely touches it.
I mean, I presume it just tastes a bit like drinking a shot of pond water, doesn't it? Really?
Something like that.
Yeah.
You tell me you had a pond.
It's, however, quite fun presentation because Judith mentions that the spacecraft, the laser-powered spacecraft, is likely to be about the size of a transit van, which they then illustrate with a funny image of, like, funny drawing of a transit van flying from Earth to Saturn, and then immediately cut to Kate, who is indeed inside a transit van, but
we don't know that though. We don't know that yet. Actually.
No, we don't know.
She's just in a spacecraft, right? A very nicely decked out spacecraft,
but very well decked out, isn't it? Do you reckon Do you reckon they've got that from an episode of Doctor Who or something? I don't know.
They did not make that. That was available to them.
Yeah, I wonder where that came from.
It just happens if So it's a nice little callback when at the end, it cuts to Howard outside the spacecraft and she's in a transit and he closes the door and he slaps it and doesn't quite send it on its way. It would have been better if it driven off, but
yeah. Right, if anybody listening can remember if there was any TV series in the early 90s where it involved a grey transit van done out like a spaceship, let us know.
Oh yeah.
Algae, Mark. Interestingly, it turns out that there's a lot of, weirdly in this episode, there's quite a few things that are very current. It's as if this is the perfect amount of time for something to go from tomorrow's world to actually fruition. So the algae thing, lots of developments in space algae. It's great stuff. The reason why they love algae so much is obviously you only need water, CO2 and light. You don't need any soil. You don't need any flower beds, whatever. You just get a test tube, put some algae in it, give it light, water and CO2, and then you're fine. And those are things that you're always going to have in a spaceship because you're going to have people in there. Produces 20 times more protein per surface area than soybeans and is more efficient at converting light into sugar than sugar cane. So it's super. So it's kind of a super food, really. The Aztecs used to eat it. They made it into cakes. He's made green cakes out of it. But yeah, as I said, people chuck it in smoothies these days, pretend it's a superfood. Yeah, that's not a superfood. I mean, it's not. It has no more benefits than eating normal fruit and vegetables. But you can't grow normal fruit and vegetables in space, really. One of the great things about it they've discovered, though, because they've been doing experiments, is that it seems like it likes being in space. So the recent Artemis mission, they had algae on board that. They put some, tardigrades, the water bears, little tiny thing.
Yeah.
That are meant to be super tough and are able to survive in space and stuff like that. They put some tardigrade genes in some algae, and then they put some normal, they put it with some, and then they also had some normal algae. They put that on Artemis, and they then sent it to space, and then saw how it coped flying to the moon and back. And because they wanted to see whether the tardigrade genes would make it tougher in space. Actually, turns out that algae doesn't need tardigrade genes. Turns out algae loves being in space. It actually grew better when it was in space than it does on Earth, they discovered. It seems to really enjoy cosmic radiation. They're not entirely sure why yet, but that's interesting, isn't it? So
yeah, that is quite interesting. Yeah.
And there's another one. There's another algae called Trebuchs. It's incredibly hard to say. Trebuchsiaceae. It's got so many vowels in it. They extracted that from a lichen, and they reckon that's the one they're going to take to Mars because it's essentially indestructible. You can blast it with UV radiation, take it down to minus 80 degrees C. They've tried planting it in Martian soil with all the high level of iron in it and all of that. Yeah, put it in really salty water, extreme drought. It survives all of it. So that's the kind of thing, if you're going to go to an inhospitable planet, you want to take some of that. So yeah, it does. There's been a lot of algae developments. There's another one, the International Space Station. They're working on an algae project. It's a Danish project called SOFONSTER, which inexplicably is an acronym that stands for Sophie's on Hamster. And I couldn't find out why it's called that.
Oh.
It's got nothing to do with hamsters.
Okay.
And they are working out a way to grow algae on the space station and then process the proteins in algae into other protein-based products. So they've managed to make burgers, milk, and cheese out of algae. So that's so that's an ongoing project. The International Space Station.
That's a bit more exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't mind you can knock yourself up an algae cheeseburger. Give that a go.
If it tastes nice.
It is weird though.
The texture's awful though.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention with that Artemis mission, were you surprised to see a jar of Nutella fly past the camera? Because we were always brought up. We were always brought up to say that the only thing that astronauts ate was freeze-dried ice cream and little foil pouches with straws. That's the only thing.
The little space rations.
Yeah. And they got a glass jar of Nutella floating past the camera. If they just relaxed,
it's woke nonsense, Russ. The game's gone.
It's shocking. That's shocking. Yeah. But it turns out, in a few years' time, they'll be able to basically open a branch of McDonald's up there. Get themselves a space Ronald McDonald. Probably be the only place he's welcome, because he's a clown.
Double meat franchise. Yeah.
But yeah, that's algae, Mark. On to some, I was going to say Norwegian wood, but it's not, it's Swedish wood, isn't it?
It's Swedish wood, sadly, yeah.
Skellefteå, a village in northern Sweden built over 3 centuries ago using their traditional raw material, wood. Timber to house and protect people. But deep inside the wood, hidden dangers may be lurking. The last patient of the day in this hospital near the Arctic Circle. Here, when the computerized body scanners finish looking at all the patients, it looks at the health of their main source of income, wood. Half of Sweden's covered by forest, so sawmills are a common sight. This one in the Skellefteå commune employs 1,000 people and disposes of 2 million trees a year. An important job at the sawmills is grading the logs. Only the high-quality logs make furniture and the highest profits for the mills. The lower quality wood is sent for pulp and it fetches a lower price. At the moment, the logs are graded by looking at them, using the discriminating eyes of Peter Wahlberg.
I grade them from 1 to 6. I look at the bark to see if it's good or bad, and then also look at how many knots there are on their logs. If there are many knots on the log, it's a bad log. But it's very difficult to see inside the log. I have not got X-ray eyes.
But X-ray vision is available just down the road from the local body scanner. An X-ray source moves in a circle around the log, sending its beam through the wood. This is picked up by a ring of detectors, which build up a 360-degree image through a cross-section of the log. Now, on this picture, you can see the difference between the old wood in the centre and the young wood on the outside that actually carries all the sap through the tree. And you can also pick up 2 knots here and here, but the quality looks generally good. Let's just move along the log now. Oh, there's a knot appearing at the top, and another on the left. But on the right, there's a hole. That's rotten wood. Now, that couldn't end up in furniture. And that part of the log would definitely need to be avoided by the sawmill. The sawmill slices 300 logs an hour, and they're going to install a body scanner here to look through each and every one of them. The scanner's detailed information will be used to program the computerized saws to avoid the badly knotted and rotten wood with surgical precision. It'll save over 10% of the wood wasted at the moment and pay for itself in 18 months. The people who used Skellefteå's raw material to build their village over 300 years ago would have been intrigued.
The people who use Skellefteå's raw material to build their village over 300 years ago would be intrigued, Mark.
Intrigued, Russ. What an intriguing word to end your piece on. I was trying to meet Judith halfway and thinking, like, is that a pun on tree? And I thought, no.
Yeah.
You think? Oh, it's awful. It's really poor. Yeah. The fact that we're discussing it.
I mean, also, why is Judith walking around in her pyjamas?
I don't know.
It really does look like she's wearing pyjamas, doesn't she?
But the music at the beginning when we're introduced to the village, especially because it's empty and there's no one living in there anymore, it made it almost feel like we were kind of, like it was like, I don't know, it almost felt like it was a kind of concentration camp or something like that. It was really weird.
It's like a nice little village there, and quite pleasant.
Yeah, seems lovely. No one's living there though, Russ.
Although
nice.
It did look like it could be set in for some sort of horror film, couldn't it? Really, I can imagine a Scandinavian horror film being set there. But yeah, it's subject we cover quite a lot. Weirdly,
lumber. Yeah,
we've done a few lumber segments, haven't we?
I have to say,
not one of your favourite segments.
No, it was more like. I mean, Tomorrow World has slightly let us down. Our oil platform project is not propelling itself forward as much as I would hope, Russ. I'm beginning to worry about our pension plans. Maybe we need to start maybe we need to consider forestry. Yeah,
that's a good point, man. Whoa.
Or just invent something for golf and then just lay down and just let the money wash over us.
Well, I mean, obviously the listeners don't know about this, Mark, but we were discussing the prospect of a Jurassic Park golf course.
Yeah, we were, yeah. Well, don't give that out. That genuinely will make money.
Well, maybe we get into the timber, the lumbering first, and then build the world's first ever wooden oil rig.
Oh, what a great idea!
The environmentalists would like that because you could go, all right, okay, we are extracting oil, but it is. I mean, the building of it was carbon neutral.
It's sustainable
and sustainable because it's made of wood.
That's true, Russ. Yeah, what a great idea! Oh, quick, put that down in your copybook.
might be a little bit of a fire risk. I don't know. I'm not sure. Briefly about Skellefteå,
great name,
which is it's actually spelled Skellefteå with a K, but you know what the Swedish like with their pronunciation of things. Firstly, it has a football club called Moron BK, which made me laugh. And I found 3 famous Swedish people from there. Number 1 is Victoria Silvstedt. You might remember her as a blonde model in the 90s mainly.
Yeah.
Number 2, Stieg Larsson of Dragon Tattoo fame.
Yeah.
There's also another author from there called Stieg Larsson, and the Stieg Larsson added the E to his name so he wouldn't get confused with his
differentiate.
mate Stig Larsson.
That's kind of fun.
They're friends. Anyway, but I'd never heard of the other Stig Larsson. So, and thirdly, the band The Wannadies, who did that song "You and Me."
I remember them. Yeah,
Always.
yeah.
That one. Yeah, they're all from there. I've never even heard of the place. It's got 3 quite famous people from it.
No, nor have I heard of Moore and BK as a football team, so I can't imagine they're that successful.
I'll put their badge at the bottom in case you'd recognise that.
No, I mean, do I recognise it? No, I mean it's kind of broadly generic, but
if I was going to wear a football strip, which I never would, I would quite like to one with Moore on BK written on it.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah. So they chop down trees and they have to grade the trunks that the logs.
Yeah.
When it comes through into the sawmill to be turned into planks. Currently, it's mainly a bloke. What they say his name was? Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
It's a fella called Peter who.
Yeah, he just sits there, watch them all go by.
He just visually uses his eyes.
He eyeballs it.
The quality of it. What I didn't understand is that the logs aren't rotating. So how does he know there's not like something bad on the other side of the log that he can't see? That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah.
It did make me think though. Whenever you see any of these like inside the factory type programs like that, there's always a quality control person who was working at incredible speed, like picking out things that they could see are wrong, and it always makes you wonder. Like they started doing that job at some point, and they weren't as good at their job at that point. So is there not like a significant period of time while they're getting good at their job when the quality control of this factory just goes to absolute pits? No.
No, I had never thought about it until you mentioned it in the notes, and now it's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Because you're right, I don't watch the in the factory things all that often, but you are right, there is always that point in any process where it just relies on that one person who's been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Which does feel like it's, management consultants have come in and tried to replace them and that you can't. So what happens when they are ill? Like, they're allowed to be ill. What happens? Or go on holiday. What happens if they go on holiday?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, a little bit of glass. No one's going to notice.
It's like that Simpsons episode where they go to the Duff factory and they distract the quality controller at one point, and then you see the bottles go behind them, and one of them's got Adolf Hitler's head in it.
Yeah.
But so the point of this is that obviously Peter's, although he's doing a bang up job, ideally you can't rely on Peter all the time.
He doesn't look excited though, does he? He doesn't look like he's engaged by his work.
He's Swedish. None of them look excited.
No, maybe yeah, that's true.
So they're thinking of a technological solution, and the technological solution is staring them in the face. It's what you put people through to inspect their insides. It's a CT scanner. Although I did notice that at no point in this does Judith call it a CT scanner. I wasn't sure what is that not a term back. I don't know. Well, at least you say CAT scan, didn't they? I don't want to.
Indeed, yeah. She just says X-ray, I think.
She says X-ray, but it's definitely not just an X-ray. Yeah. An X-ray
no.
present the images in that way, right. in this more realistic way that this machine does. So, anyway, but it's a CT scanner. But currently they're having to take the logs one by one to the hospital, which seems very inefficient, considering how many logs they've got to look.
Now, see, this is where I think I don't know if you're being deliberate or not, but they weren't doing that. They were doing that for our benefit. What they're going to do is install one.
The piece told me that when the hospital closes,
she says
when the hospital closes at night, because we all know hospitals close at night. That's what they all do. When the hospital closes at night,
I remember that thinking, like, that's not what hospitals do.
They then get a log, put it in an ambulance, and then put it on a gurney under a blanket and take it to the CT scanner and put it through the machine. That's what they said.
She's very clear they're going to install one of these on the conveyor belts. That's what she says. I'm not calling her a liar, Russ. I think it's for our benefit, not for the logs.
All right, fair enough. Actually, yeah, well, all right, fair enough. All right, fair enough. Yeah, well, that did seem a bit of a waste of Sweden. I know they do have very good public services in Sweden, but that did seem like a bit of a waste of ambulance and hospital time. But yeah, I mean, have a guess, Mark. Does this exist? Or is this the fall?
Oh, God. No, again, I mean, it felt too real. Because actually, you often see Anytime an industry has a development like this where they use something that exists and they go, like, oh, we'll have that. You always go like, yep, of course they will. Of course they bloody will. No, I did think this was real.
Yep, it's real.
If there's profit margins to be increased, Russ, they're gonna do it, aren't they?
Yep.
I fear for Peter though. He's not long for the world. He's going to get the job. No pun intended.
Well, I mean, he could get a job at the hospital, feeding people into the...
That's true, he is very good. Though I think in general, people don't go through the CAT scan on a conveyor belt followed by other people.
Well, that'd be a good way of getting through patients quicker. Just put them all on just whiz them through rather than put them in one by one. It might clear some of the NHS backlog.
Yeah.
So, I mean... Any sawmill worth its salt really has one of these days, Mark.
Makes perfect sense, right?
They pass through about 1 to 2 meters per second, and the scanner looks for defects at 1 inch intervals, and it's looking for knots basically, as we were told here, because knots are twice as dense as normal wood and can ruin furniture or holes or rot or whatever as well, of course, which is not as dense as normal wood. So either which show up. Sometimes they also scan the geometry of it with lasers. Ooh. And they use acoustics to test, they vibrate it with acoustics to test how stiff it is as well. So they do all of those things. They work out, because there's official grading systems for timber. And so it can work out exactly what it is. So you give it like an alphanumeric code, which is standardized across the timber world of what each piece of timber is. So everyone knows what they're buying. But the fun thing is that once it's got an image of the interior of the log, it then knows exactly the optimum way to saw it into planks to get the optimum number and quality of planks out of the log. So that's what it does. So it's not only just checking for defects, it's also programming the saw at the same time. So it saws each log individually. It's a custom saw job for each log.
That's pretty clever. Yeah.
And they reckon that timber product value is boosted by up to 20% by doing this. So that's why the Swedish are rolling in it, Mark.
Bloody hell.
Bloody
hell, Russ.
They can all afford to drive Saabs and Volvos. About it, really, Mark. Well, cool. I mean, we're getting through these, and I don't feel like I've not been fooled yet.
Not yet, we haven't.
Let's see what
There's still plenty of time. Might be the next one, Russ. This might get us.
Pest control in California has taken a leap forward thanks to the man who invented this, the ratapult. Okay? Whew. Unsuspecting mice are lured in here, they're then tossed up to the ceiling and they drop down into the bucket here. As the mouse goes scampering in there looking for food, it breaks an infrared beam which sets off a springboard mechanism and sends it flying. So let's see how well it works. Yes, there it goes. Now, it then resets itself, ready for the next hungry customer. Now, this all sounds a little bit mean for the poor old mice, but according to the inventor's business manager, it's actually an improvement on the conventional mousetrap.
It's humane in that they are not killed when they're flung, they are stunned. But in about 20-30 minutes, they get up and walk away, if you want them to do that.
The idea is you end up with a bucket full of live mice. Then in the morning you just take them outside and release them in your garden. Alternatively, you take the lid off the ratapult, and a few that get stuck come shooting out. And then you place it in the direction of an open window, and you then flick them straight out into your neighbour's garden. Now, the inventor reckons he can safely fling mice up to 65 feet, so... Well, they don't seem to be doing that well in our studio. Maybe that might have something to do with our studio mice.
Now, Carmen has changed out of her cashmere sweater, and she's now wearing a green velvet catsuit. I think it's probably the first time we've ever seen a Tomorrow's World presenter in a catsuit. I'm not sure many of them will be able to pull it off.
I suppose we've seen presenters in kind of overalls, haven't we, but not a catsuit. Yeah. I will point out, she was wearing this earlier. She just was wearing the jumper over it.
Yeah. But do we think the reason she's wearing a cat suit is because she is demonstrating a mousetrap? Is there some sort of, is that a deliberate choice?
Gosh, layers upon layers.
Yeah.
I think? I don't, Russ, but I like it.
This is quite shambolic, this segment.
Yeah.
Because it not through her fault. I don't think she even realises. She doesn't seem to realise that it's actually the ratapult is not working.
It's not working. It works for the first time. It works, and then it never works again at any point.
Yeah,
and she doesn't know that because it's arguably making roughly the same noises.
Yes,
and she can't see what's happening, so she's carrying on, assuming it's working, and obviously we are highly aware that it is failed miserably. I do like your observation earlier that actually, did Judith break it right at the beginning of the show when she was introducing it?
Yeah, she does fiddle with it, doesn't she?
She fiddles with it, Russ. Yeah. She's a fiddler.
I mean, she could have sabotaged it. Maybe it's her April Fool's on Carmen. She sabotaged her.
Oh my God. What a bitch. It's after midday, though, so you really shouldn't be doing April Fool's after midday.
No, it's April Fool's month, Mark. You're allowed to do it any
time
sorry.
Of the month. Forgive me. I forgot the line we're taking.
The segment doesn't work because the thing doesn't work, and it's a ludicrous invention, Mark. It is an utterly ridiculous, stupid invention. It's a rat trap or mouse trap that can potentially fling them how far? 70 feet, was it? Something like that.
65, I think they say, which, what's that, 30 metres? That's quite a distance.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, it's not so far away that they're never going to learn where you were and how to get back.
No. But then it seems like, oh no, but actually it fires them into a bucket and knocks them out. But they're okay. They just wake up. I don't know how you can guarantee that. You can't randomly hurl an animal at a flat surface and guarantee 100% of the time that it's going to get up and walk away. It depends how it lands, doesn't it?
Yep.
If it lands,
absolutely true.
Lands straight on its neck or something, it's going to break its neck. If it lands on one of its limbs, it's going to break a limb, and then just basically it's written off anyway. Because if an animal breaks its leg, it's probably not going to survive after that. So I mean, it's mad. Why is this man who invented it come up with it? Because obviously I did find. I put a picture of the man who invented it because we're not shown him, are we?
Yeah.
I found a news article from the Time.
He looks very
happy, Alan
he?
Gross of Berkeley, California. There he is, looking proud with his rat trap. We get to see what the interior of it looks like. But he made the newspapers with this. It's something at best that could be described as something, I don't know, something a bored hobbyist might come up with in their shed. How is this making it tomorrow's world? And how has he got a business partner? Because we don't actually see him, but we do see his business partner, an extremely serious and stern-looking American lady.
She's very well put together. She looks like a sophisticated lady. She does smile at the end when she says something along the lines of like, "Oh, it's humane if you wanted to be," and then she smiles like, "We know what you want to do. You want to fling them into a wall."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such as I said, like, is this the greatest juxtaposition between the talking head we've had discussing an object and the object itself, which, as you say, feels like it's made by a shed-based hobbyist who decided they just want to fucking throw rats at stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
I did find... So I found a whole new article about these two, and their responses to and you clearly picked up on this, their responses to why they're building this thing is very different. Alan Gross, the inventor, invented it because I didn't want the rodent squashed or turned into meatloaf. So he genuinely thinks that this is going to be humanely get rid of it.
This is humane, okay.
Anne Koenig, the lady, the Oakland businesswoman who invested in it, his dragon, I guess. Her view was that they thrive in the sewer, carry disease, are responsible for an annual 1 billion food loss in the US, and have also been known to chew on sleeping babies.
Ooh, wipe them out. All of them, she said.
So they're both coming to it from two different. I mean, surely she should be like back in some bloke who's invented a rat flamethrower or something, you know, rather than a ratapult.
Not as fun a name though, is it? The rat flamethrower.
Interestingly, the name had been used before. There was somebody came up with a ratapult all the way back in 1912, which also made the newspapers and is incredibly similar design. But when the interviewer of that was interviewed back in 1912, he said that he'd invented it to break every bone in a rat's body.
Well, I appreciate the honesty.
But it did lead me to finding, turns out there was a bored Irishman during COVID who set about building a ratapult in his garden and refining it. And he finally did refine it. And we just got a little clip of it here. It's a pretty effective.
Well, that's not going to really help anyone who's listening as a podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, look up Ratapult on there.
That thing really flew.
He really did, didn't he?
Yeah.
You got to wonder. Yeah, you got to wonder from the rat's perspective what they think. You know, how they think's happened there. It's like who was it? I was listening to somebody talking about how mad it must be being the first chimp in space when you're like you're just mooching around in the jungle.
Yep.
Somebody comes and grabs you in a net and puts you in a.
That's pretty sweet. So you don't think it was a monkey bred in captivity? You think they stole it from the jungle?
Yeah. Suddenly you're orbiting the Earth. You haven't got a clue what's going on. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that's Ratapult's, Mark, anyway. Should we see what the...
Another real one. Okay, well, we're running out of road here, Russ, so one of the next ones has to be fake. Come on.
Imagine if your compass said north was south and vice versa. Well, it could happen any time. Every 100,000 years or so, the Earth's magnetic field flips around, and instead of running south to north, runs north to south. Well, just why, no one knows, but geologists now say they know the route the North Magnetic Pole will take on its next trip south, because each time the poles switch direction, they appear to follow one of two well-worn routes around the world. One leads through the Americas, the other across Eastern Asia. Well, this repetitive behaviour means the Earth remembers where its magnetic poles should travel during reversals, even though these can be hundreds of thousands of years apart. Now that's a long memory.
Now this does sound made up, doesn't it, Mark? I mean, the idea that the Earth can just flip something so sort of, so concrete to all of human civilization.
Yeah.
Can just one day decide to just completely flip on a whim. Unexpectedly. That sounds pretty unbelievable, doesn't it, really?
Well, we're enough of the fact that we've been told in our entire lives that this might happen at any day. It could happen. You're absolutely right. It is kind of mad and nonsensical, isn't it? Like, it is stupid that, yeah. Not least because, I mean, the idea of north being north is like one of those kind of intrinsic truisms.
Yes.
North will always be north, right? It's etched into everything. The idea that like north might be south is mad. Though it's one of those things where, like, I suppose I asked you the question, like, well, what is the impact? I suppose in my head I was thinking, if it really did happen overnight, which I know it wouldn't, but like if it did happen overnight, one of those things where like, well, surely we would just take whatever was north, like whatever was north is still a direction on the compass, and you would just kind of go like, okay, well, that's the new north, 10 degrees. I don't know. I think philosophically, we could allow for it. Though I suspect it's kind of hardwired into like a lot of computers and stuff like that, and GPS and stuff.
Yeah, but, and nature as well. It would probably screw up nature.
Oh well, true. Yeah, I suppose the birds can kind of intellectualize.
Anything that migrates would migrate in the wrong direction.
That's
so that
true.
Would cause
they use the magnetic field, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, but no, you are right. It wouldn't. They reckon that the main issue would be that obviously because it doesn't instantly happen. As Howard says here, it migrates.
Yeah,
and no one's entirely sure how long it takes to migrate, or whether and if that's a set amount. It could be that sometimes it's quicker and slower.
Yeah.
Like I saw, like there's been one paper that estimated that it would take several thousand years to do the transition. There was another paper that said that they reckon it would only within the space of a human lifetime it would do it. But the thing is that the Earth while it's doing the transition, the Earth would end up having multiple poles. It would have poles all over the Earth. So actually, I did there's a diagram.
It's an amazing diagram. When I saw this,
you'd have south and north poles all over the bloody place.
Yeah, it would be at best confusing.
And that would weaken the Earth's magnetic field. Magnetic field obviously protects us from stuff. It protects us from cosmic radiation and solar what's it called? Solar
I suppose
storms.
I was thinking it might be amazing to see the aurora borealis like above the car park outside Tesco's.
That is the thing.
It probably wouldn't be. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they reckon you would be able to see aurora borealis. Basically, it'd be aurora everyalis, which then would actually mean that what's his name, Superintendent Chalmers. Aurora borealis at this time of year, this part of the country. That could possibly come true. But you would have the problem that everyone would be dying of skin cancer because we wouldn't be protected from and also solar storms have a tendency to blow out power grids as well. So it'll probably blow out all of our power grids. But other than that,
fine.
That's fine. Yeah. We wouldn't be in that much of much trouble. But yeah, no, the weird thing is that there is no pattern to it at all. They've done all statistical analysis because they know how many times it's happened, going back to a certain period. So in the last 83 million years, it's happened 183 times. But the amount of time, the amount of time between those occurrences happening is utterly random. Sometimes it's millions and millions of years. Sometimes it's only a few thousand years. But the average amount of time is once every 450,000 years, if you averaged all of the ones. It has been 780,000 years since the last one.
Oh, we are
so that's why they're saying we're overdue one.
Right.
And the other piece of it, the other thing that people have pointed to is that in the past 200 years, the Earth's magnetic field has got weaker by 10%.
Right.
So some people are saying, well, the reason the magnetic field is getting weaker is that it's getting upset. It's starting to think about doing a flip. But they're not sure. That's pure conjecture. Hold on to your butts, I guess, really, Mark. I mean,
all right.
It could happen. It could happen any day. But you're not going to wake up one morning it's happened, unfortunately.
I was about to say, weirdly, now that you've explained to me, I don't find that reassuring anymore.
But
all right.
I mean, the thing is, there's all of these disasters that have happened to the planet over the years. I wonder which one will happen. Like, obviously, this might happen. Obviously, a comet might strike the Earth or asteroid, or that giant volcano under Yellowstone,
the super volcano,
might explode. Which of them is going to happen first, Mark? That's the question.
Well, I feel confident that nature may not get a chance to do any of those things, so we might just fuck it up ourselves. I mean, surely understanding that we might be affecting the climate is one of the simplest things for people to get a hold of. And yet.
So, come on, nature.
Show us what for.
Yeah, show us what for.
Yeah. Go on, I dare you coward.
Show us who's right.
Brum brum.
It's 1992 and all that. European products and European tastes respect no borders. Even the most French of French delicacies has invaded Britain. We're now eating 15 million snails a year. And with the escargot comes the latest in escargot control, just arrived from Italy. And I'm going to be able to run a Tomorrow's World test on it. Snails are now so popular they're becoming scarce. So scarce the French have declared a closed snail season when wild snails can't be hunted. So instead they're being farmed, which presents a problem. How do you keep the snails where you want them? Now we know that they don't sprint off into the distance, but they can slither silently away. Inventors have worked hard to produce effective corrals for the migratory molluscs. The latest, and they claim most effective, is this: a quick-drying snail-repellent paint from Italy, a complicated cocktail that snails find revolting. You simply paint it around the area where you want to keep the snails, and you watch them trapped inside as effectively as a high-security penitentiary. So let's see if it works. Let's go in for a snail's eye view with our special snail-sized camera here. And it stops short in its stride by the paint. Now, in case you missed that, let's have an action replay. Yes, the cunning concoctions kiboshed the escape. Now, we gave this lot here a whole day to mount a breakout. Let's see how they did. As you can see, a few wandered right up to the edge, but in the end, the Italian paint did its job. The inventor says you can spread the stuff over anything, and it'll last all year. And after the programme, we'll be taking this lot here to Britain's top snail breeder to see if he'd recommend it.
Do you think after the programme they will be taking that to Britain's top snail breeder to see if he recommends it?
No, I don't.
Why did she say that?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Also, like, let's just cut to the chase here. Put them in a box. That's all you have to do. Put them in a box. They're snails. You don't need to paint a circle around them. Put them in a box with lettuce or whatever they eat. Put them in a box. Problem solved.
But then, Mark, they would not be free-range snails, would they, Mark? That's the thing. That's like, I mean, you keep chickens in a box, but then people complain. People go, "Oh, it's a battery hen. I want my chickens free-range."
That's true, I suppose. Yeah.
Why are you not giving snails the same treatment?
Yeah, you're right. I feel guilty now. Did we eat 15 million snails a year in 1992, Russ? Because I struggle to believe we eat that many now, let alone in 1992.
Well, you're pleased to know, Mark, I've crunched the numbers.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't find how many snails we ate in 1992.
No. I'm assuming we eat more now than we did in 1992.
I found an article saying that we eat more and more snails. The number of snails we eat has increased over the years.
Yeah.
In 2024, we ate 62 tons of snails were consumed in the UK, which is a 5.5% increase on the previous year.
Yep.
So a common edible snail weighs 10 grams.
Yep.
So 62 tons of snails is 6.2 million snails.
Golly.
So we
did not eat 15 million snails.
So
we
15 million snails in 19...
No.
So if she says we... Maybe she meant, I thought, maybe she went by we, because she's talking about Europe, wasn't she? She's talking about it being European.
I think she's talking about us being in Europe and kind of having more European appetites there.
Well, no, here we go, Mark. So I thought, well, okay.
How much are the French? Yeah, go on then.
How much combined does Europe with a snail? Because it's not just French who eat them.
No.
The Spaniards and the Italians are partial to them as well as other countries. So Europe as a whole consumes 200,000 tons of snails annually.
Jesus Christ.
France is the top consumer, 40,000 tons annually. But that would be 4 billion snails.
Jesus Christ.
The French eat 4 billion snails a year. That's mental, isn't it?
That's fucking nuts.
How is
that is so mad.
Do you think why when you go to France it's not every other field a snail farm?
It's just a snail, a snail farm and a snail restaurant next to each other. That's it, right? That's mad. That seems like a lot, Russ.
I've had them once. Have you? I mean, have you?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. No. But then I was thinking, it's like I like to eat out, and actually I like French food. I suppose the reason I knew we couldn't have eaten 15 million snails every year is because I can't think of many times I've even been to French restaurants where snails has been on the menu.
Well, this is the thing. The French restaurant chain Cote sells them, and that's why I've had them.
Oh, I don't think I've not been to a Cote.
I went there once.
Did you go on a date, Russ?
I was there with an ex-girlfriend of mine, actually. Yeah, and she ordered them. She won't be listening.
Are there any girls listening? My wife listens. That's true.
But she's a lady.
That's very true, Russ. Very true. Yes.
She ordered them. I think she quite liked. She'd ordered them before. She quite liked them. I don't think a chain restaurant would necessarily be great at cooking because presumably they're probably just pre-cooked microwave jobs or something, aren't they? And I don't know. I can't remember how good the Cote brasserie was.
Yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have been fresh. They would have been cooked from frozen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what did you describe them as? Something like garlic chewing gum.
Garlic chewing gum. Yeah. They're a little bit tough.
Like I know they're not slimy, but I also know they're not like tender either. They're quite chewy, right?
They work hard chewy. Yeah. I don't know whether they're meant to be chewy though. That's the thing.
I don't know either. I'll try it, well, especially when I'm on holiday. I will try anything. I don't know. There's something about the snail where they're like, yeah.
It is funny though that stick a snail at the bottom of the ocean and then suddenly people aren't turning their nose up at it, are they? Why is it that? What is it about the marine nature of a mollusk makes it generally more palatable than a garden nature of a mollusk?
We don't see them.
You don't tread on them in bare feet when you go walking through the back garden.
Not even in shoes.
Or
I
in your
feel so
socks.
guilty. I don't like killing things. I'll eat them though, not snails, but stuff that have been killed. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't find it particularly. I'll try most things. I really will, but no. It's very noticeable that you haven't rushed back to code to fill yourself up.
No, I don't actually. I don't. Never seen them on a menu. I've never seen them on a menu in the Netherlands. Don't know whether the Dutch eat them. I mean, I've seen horse on a menu in the Netherlands, so they eat that. So they're not. They've got fairly adventurous palates.
Do you know what it is? I suspect because the Dutch are so obsessed with caravanning, and having a caravan is a bit like carrying your house around on your back.
They probably sympathise with the snail, didn't they?
They sympathise with the snail.
That's a good point. Yeah. And they exude slime when they crawl along the ground.
Don't they?
Speaking of slime, Mark, you might be wondering why we don't eat slugs. Could you think, slugs even eat?
I mean, I don't, but I am now that you've raised it. Go on then. Why do we not eat slugs, but we do eat snails?
Because the slug doesn't have the shell.
Yeah.
It has to have a much tougher skin in general, and it exudes a hell of a lot more slime, and it's thicker, gooier slime. It's a significantly less palatable prospect than a snail, and also slugs are much more likely to contract a parasite known as rat lungworm, which is carried by slugs. And if you eat a slug with a rat lungworm in it, it will burrow into the centre of your brain.
Fuck me.
And it may lay dormant. It may lay dormant for years and then come to life and kill you, or it may kill you within days. There was a fairly recent, not that long ago, news story about an Australian teenager who was dared to eat a slug. Obviously had no idea about rat lungworm and died 9 days later of brain hemorrhage or whatever.
Oh, God, all right. Well, there we go.
Yeah, so if you ever want to cook a snail, because you can't trust what they've been eating outside, even if you're farming them. So you have to starve them. So it's ideally you starve them for 12 days, and then you put them in salty water and boil them alive. So it's fun. That's fun for the old snail, isn't it?
Brilliant. Well, can't believe I haven't rushed down to eat them. Go on then.
The farm of snails though is called, what is it called? It's called helikiculture. What I was surprised by, I mean, we were joking about it at the beginning, but they really do have barn-raised snails and free-range outdoor snails.
Okay.
So there is kind of a possible use for this thing that Judith's got, because a lot of them are grown outdoors.
You can't paint the outdoors, though.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, the thing is that actually what they do is they grow them under nets, because if you're growing them outdoors, your main worry, other than them escaping, is birds eating them. So you don't want the birds to eat them. So you can buy special snail netting, and so you put them in big gardens, and then you just put big net over the garden, and then you're fine. You have to put the net a few inches into the ground though, because snails can burrow, which I didn't know.
Oh.
If you want like the full Alcatraz treatment, electric fences, you can get snail electric fences, because they're very sensitive to electric current.
No.
So sensitive that one of the other ways of keeping them in is you can buy special copper tape. It looks like a roll of gaffer tape or whatever, but it's made of copper. And they bloody hate copper, Mark, because if they crawled on it, their slime interacts with the copper and actually makes a very tiny electrical current, and they hate it. So stay off of it.
Seems unpleasant.
So stay off the copper. So all of these things are ways of keeping snails out. You don't really need some weird green paint that Judith's got here. They seem more effective. So I'm not sure they've really used stuff. I mean, there are paintable snail repellents on the market. There's one called Schnecksagen, which was on the German version of Dragon's Den. That's €18.20 for a 375mm tin. You paint that on. But that's for the reverse, really. It's for keeping snails out.
Mm.
You pay if you got raised beds with, your veg or whatever in it. You paint that on the outside, and it's so slippery, not even a snail can go across it. So that's available. So I think, weirdly, I don't know whether they've just decided to make this about farming snails to make it seem weirder. Because if it was if Judith was telling it was a snail repellent, you'd make it sound more normal, wouldn't it? So in the spirit of the April Fools, they've decided to do the old flipperoonie.
They've flipped it. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's not a full mark because it does exist.
All right, well, we're running out, so it must be one of the next two. All right, let's go.
Sleek lines and sheer power aren't everything. It's that deep throb of the engine, the throaty menace that really turns people's heads. Clearly I'm lacking slightly in that department. As cars are made with smaller engines and lightweight bodies, you can end up with a rather dissatisfying din. So how about this? There are 8 microphones dotted around in here recording the noise of the car. That's fed through to a computer in the boot, which generates its own sound called anti-noise. Now that's exactly opposite the original noise, so they cancel each other out. Ah, that's better. Now I can enjoy much more pleasant sounds, like this. In the boot, I've got a second computer that's synthesizing the sound of a much more sporty car and playing it through my car stereo system. What's more, it's linked to the throttle, so when I put my foot down, I get the sound to match. And if I get bored with that sound, well, all I have to do is change its tune. It can only be heard inside, so no heads are going to turn when I give it some welly. Right. I'm ready to rip up the road.
I've got the power! The only way this could be a fool, Mark, I think, is you'd think, why does anybody want this? Like, why does anybody want to make brum brum noises in their car? But then you think,
the thing is, I found this all too plausible.
Yeah, but then you think, oh yeah, no, that is, no, there's loads of people that want to do that, isn't there?
Yeah.
I actually, what this did remind me of was a study that I heard about very recently. I looked it up. It's a 2024 study by a Canadian professor, and they asked a group of men and women. They did a personality test on them, and then they asked them 3 questions included in that test as well, and they were. Agree or disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree to these questions? My car is an extension of what makes me a person. I think loud cars are really cool. And if I could, I would make my car louder with a muffler modification, i.e. give it a stupid exhaust on it. What the professor thought was going to happen is she thought, well, I think it was a she. I think she thought that it was going to be related to negative personality traits, but she thought it was going to be narcissism because she thought they were attention seeking. And what she discovered is there's no correlation between attention seeking and wanting a loud exhaust or having a loud exhaust. What she found, there was a correlation between psychopathy, as in impulsive cruelty, and everyday sadism, as in enjoyment of others' suffering. So. So what they concluded is that the only reason people have stupidly loud exhausts on their cars is not because they're trying to get other people's attention, it's because they're actively taking pleasure in upsetting other people.
Wow.
And have callous disregard for others.
That's fun.
That's interesting, isn't it? Think about that next time you see somebody go past with a stupid exhaust on their car. Yeah.
Well, that's incredible.
But actually, this is kind of the reverse, really, in that it's not making any. The whole point of this is you can't hear it outside the car. So, fill your boots as far as I'm concerned.
It's for your benefit not to spread. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get down to brass tacks. This is noise cancelling technology.
It's yes, yeah.
Is what it is. Which I did wonder if this is the first time we see. You pointed out that actually there is in an episode next year, so a year and a half from now, broadcast. Yeah. Is the one where Kate is on the bus in New York and she listens to noise cancelling headphones that drown out the side. Which, this is the same technology, but obviously not quite as miniaturized yet. And I love the fact that how it refers to as anti-noise.
Anti-noise, yeah,
which is
yeah.
This machine, these computers create anti-noise, which obviously, I thought it was really interesting.
What I think is interesting as well is that the people that came up with this have invented something that has far greater use these days than it did back then.
Yes.
Because basically, most modern cars above a certain spec level will have in them active sound design, and it is this combination of two things. You've got the noise cancelling technology, which is trying to get rid of unwanted noise, but then you have a thing called ESE, which stands for engine sound enhancement, which then introduces synthetic noise. Because the thing you have these days, you've got a situation where either you've got an electric car or you've got a hybrid car with a small engine in it, or even like cars with normal engines in them are still much more efficient, so they're quieter anyway. So what they do now is you've got very technical people trying to work out exactly the ideal acoustics of the interior of the car, and they've got all these microphones all over the car, and they're getting rid of the sounds that they don't want, that sound rubbish and would annoy the driver, and then they're enhancing the sounds they think the driver will want. So you've got like a sporty car, they'll enhance the exhaust sounds inside the car. There's some electric sports cars that they just put completely fake engine noises in the car. There's ones that have fake gear changes and all sorts.
Oh, wow.
Which to me seems silly. I mean, part of the fun of an electric car is the fact that it's incredibly silent when it's going really fast. To me, that seems. Well, some people don't like that. It's not a particularly exciting segment, but it is.
It's interesting.
It's one of those things where that you probably didn't realise how much that was going to be, because back then that just seems like it's a sort of thing where you've got some sad case driving a crappy little Citroen who wants to sound like he's driving a Porsche, basically, haven't you?
Which is what it is.
You would think, wouldn't you, that if you're going to go, well, what was the first production car to have this actually fitted in, that came off the production line? You're going to go, well, it'd be like maybe a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes.
I was going to say something incredibly expensive.
Some sort of incredibly expensive car.
Yeah.
Nissan Bluebird. It's a 1992 Nissan Bluebird. It's the most boring, run-of-the-mill Japanese, old person's car you can imagine. It was first developed by Lotus, but they didn't put it in any Lotuses, but they put it in a Nissan Bluebird in 1992. It took quite a while for everybody to catch up. The next car they put it in is in 2003, Honda Accord, Mark. They put it in Honda Accord next.
Wow.
So basically the Japanese just put it in these really normal cars.
Yeah.
First European car to put it in. Audi started putting in their cars in 2010. That's when they started doing it. And then all of the big boys started putting it in. But weirdly, the European manufacturers only put it in their flashy motors and the BMWs and stuff. Rolls-Royce, when they started doing it, they got so overexcited with doing it, so they managed to soundproof the cabin of the Rolls-Royce Ghost so well with a combination of this both standard, insulation and the noise cancelling technology, that the cabin was so quiet that people started getting car sick.
I was going to say, I was just thinking, I think as someone who gets car sick, that to me sounds really nauseating.
Because there's literally no correlation between the speed of travel that they were going and what they were feeling and hearing. So they had to introduce a slight whisper of sound into the cabin so it just prevent the people getting sick.
Way ahead.
Way ahead, isn't it?
Way ahead.
Yes, yeah. Of course, the other thing vaguely connected to this, going back to electric cars and how quiet they are, is the problem of the fact that people can't hear you, so you might just run them over because they don't know you're there. So there is actually a legal. The car has to be a legal amount of noisiness, and it has to make a noise that could reasonably be considered a sound of a car. So you can't just have it, I don't know, playing the Knight Rider theme tune or something like that. It has to be sort of like a some sort of buzzing or rumbling or whatever. But yeah, if it's travelling at less than 12 miles per hour, it has to make a noise of at least 56 decibels.
Okay.
Yeah. But don't you think that's kind of a shame? Because wouldn't it be nice if our towns and cities were entirely silent because there was no car noise?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I've definitely been somewhere where like an electric car has just appeared next to you and you go, Jesus Christ, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
And you go like, that probably is not ideal.
Thing is, I've always got my headphones in anyway, so I can't.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, there is that, isn't there?
Okay, nearly there, Mark. Right, it's got to be the next one, isn't it? Really?
It has to be the next one. It's going to be the next one. Come on, here, we can do it, Ross. We can do it. We can find it. Like pigs and truffles.
So, have you rumbled our bogus story yet? Remember, you'll get a chance to vote at the end of the programme. But will you vote for this? It comes from America and it's the latest in jogging treadmills for caterpillars. A scientist has been running gypsy moth caterpillars on a tiny treadmill made out of a rubber band. Not all the caterpillars made the grade, but a select few crawled their way at their top speed for 4 minutes. By measuring the amount of oxygen the caterpillars used up, it was possible to calculate how much energy they needed to jog. And the findings? Well, compared to all other land animals, from cheetahs to cockroaches, caterpillars consume the most energy per mile, or at least per length of rubber band.
Now, do we think that the BBC have created a miniature animatronic caterpillar for this segment, Mark? Because it'd be quite hard for them to fake a caterpillar on a treadmill, wouldn't it? It looks pretty realistic.
It does look really realistic. I was thinking. Surely the BBC technology at the time was what was that? What was the kids' show with the little caterpillar? Oh, it was Sesame Street, wasn't it? They had the little caterpillar on the sticks.
Oh, yeah,
they were just doing that. Yeah. I don't know. Was it the Snuffleupagus' friend? He had a little caterpillar or something like that. No, this looked annoyingly real, and not because of like my frustration that it wasn't an April Fool's, but more like, why did this man do this again? He looked like he spent proper money on this.
Well, this is the thing. Carmen leaves that out, doesn't she? So it's less of a mystery. It turns out that so this is the caterpillar of the gypsy moth. Side note: it's no longer called the gypsy moth in America because they decided that gypsy is a racial slur.
Yeah,
so it's called the spongy moth now.
Oh, spongy moth. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they don't. Well, they don't like them anyway because they're not native to the Americas. They're actually European and Asian moth, and they've gone over there and they've absolutely gone to town on their forests.
They've mullered everyone, have they?
So, so gypsy moth caterpillars are very hungry caterpillars, Mark. They they reckon that since 1970 they've consumed 33 million hectares of. They've eaten through 33 million hectares of forests since 1970 in America. So it's quite a lot.
Like a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. So they're not a big fan of them. So basically, this bloke's project was he wanted to analyse every aspect of the gypsy moth to try and work out its weaknesses. Mark, find out its weaknesses.
Okay.
Know the nature of your enemy.
It's 100 Achilles' heels.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And so this discovery is essentially that they're very inefficient. So that's why they're so hungry. Presume that's why they're so hungry all the time. The point that she makes there, which I don't think she quite clarifies, is that any animal that has a skeleton, it doesn't matter whether it's a cockroach or a cheetah or a rabbit or anything, the efficiency of their motion is almost exactly the same. As long as they've got a skeleton. As long as they've got a skeleton, their efficiency of motion is almost identical in nature. It's just a weird quirk of nature. Whereas caterpillars, because they don't have a skeleton, absolutely rubbish, really energy inefficient. They're 4.5 times less efficient than a skeletoned animal. But then the reason for that is, of course, that they have to turn themselves into liquid and then turn themselves into a butterfly.
Yeah.
So they can't really have a skeleton if you've got to turn yourself into a pouch of liquid at some point in your life, are you? So it's it's very much a trade-off.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. Because I mean, he could go, well, I may be 4.5 times less efficient than you, but I can turn into a butterfly, or a moth. So
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And then go and eat somebody's.
And
eat somebody's cashmere jacket.
Oh, Ross.
So that's it. Quick piece, really, Mark. So right, this next
has to be it, right?
Has to be it.
Has to be it.
This is a model of a supercomputer, a really supercomputer, one of the most powerful in the world today. In 1 second, it can do more calculations than I can manage in 240 years with a pocket calculator. That's 16,000 million of them, and it doesn't get a headache. Number crunching on that scale means you can simulate incredibly complicated situations, things that would be too dangerous, too expensive, or plain impossible to study in real life. For instance, a supercomputer can simulate a head-on crash of a new vehicle. And because the crash is simulated, not real, designers can look at it again and again with no extra cost. Or what about modelling weather systems and predicting climate change? Well, here, there's a model predicting global warming. Or how about this? The airflow over an F-14 jet fighter at supersonic speeds. Well, given a machine with a brain the size of a planet, you can turn its mind to anything, like humanity's most pressing problem, the design of the near-perfect golf club. Hit a ball with this and you'll get an extra 10 yards on your drive. So, how did they do it? Well, the designers were able to simulate exactly what happened to a club at the moment of impact with the ball. Not just from one angle, but from any angle they cared to think of. Now, I was hoping to get some video of showing it, but it might come up in a moment. Well, they did a simulation, and the club hits the ball at 100 miles an hour. Now, the parts of the club that... Let's see if I can make this work. Not to worry, I'll just have to tell you about it. The parts of the club that suffer the most stress change colour. So you sort of get red bits where it hits the ball and all sort of bits around the top of the club. Now, what they found was that both the top and bottom of the club were actually bending. Now, you need a bit of bending to give you good control, but too much and you waste energy that could have been getting the ball nearer to the green. So they redesigned the club inside the computer, and by rerunning the simulation, they managed to reduce the bending to give the maximum distance and just the right amount of feel. Well, in the final design, those are the earlier simulations, actually. So let me see if I can find the right bit. Never mind. Well, in the final design, the top is stiffened by this zigzag pattern, which also happens to improve the airflow over the club. And the bottom is stiffened with these corrugations. Inside, the sidewall is reinforced by struts.
God, I really hate this segment. Here we go.
Well, a real treat for the golf enthusiasts this episode, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, and for all of us, Ross.
This, I obviously, when I first watched this, I assumed that the Ratapult segment was going to be the big cock-up segment. But I think this is worse, isn't it? This is more shambolic in a way.
Oh, it's
because
awful to watch. Yeah.
Fair play to Kate. She manages to talk through it. She doesn't actually get very flustered, really, considering it's just all gone completely wrong for her. I don't know. I'm not sure why she has to rely on what looks like an extremely complicated piece of audio-visual equipment to show us something on the screen. When they could have just brought up the footage on the screen for us.
Well, it seems to imply that the only way she could show the footage was to manually press play and then to manually fast forward to the next section.
Yeah, why was that?
That's utterly mad.
Why can't they just show it to us like on our screens? She doesn't see it. She's seen it before. Like, what? It's really weird. But it doesn't work. None of it works. We don't see any of it. So she has to talk through it. But we're so distracted by the fact that none of it's working. I've seen it 4 times now. I've still not listened to anything she says.
No, I mean, I just don't care. More because I think it's like a bit of a bait and switch. It's like, oh, supercomputers, that's really exciting. And then actually, really, it's about designing a driver for golf, because obviously, literally, golf is going to destroy the world by absorbing all the resources we've ever thought about consuming. Yeah. It must go into designing something or another for some idiot to spend a fortune on.
Yeah, I mean, lovely mock-up of a supercomputer there, back when they were huge black monoliths.
Yeah, with seats. I do always remember they always had seats around them.
I thought you were being sarcastic then. Did they?
No, I'm being genuinely. I do always remember, like, you'd always see these monoliths and like they'd add seats in, like, I don't know, to make them seem less intimidating. I don't know what the seats were for.
Oh.
Little banquettes.
Did they always have flashing red lights underneath them like this one has?
Of course they did, Ross.
Yeah. That's probably, I mean, that's probably causing a big drain in the data centres, isn't it? They're having to run all those
also,
flashing red
lights. Kind of feels like that would be heating them up, wouldn't it? Even if slightly.
Yeah, well, I know they spell danger. The crux of this piece is the idea that they're using a computer to design something, isn't it?
Which is not.
I mean, that is not a development, be a surprise. No. Like they use computer design everything now.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm sure they used computer design a lot of things back then.
Yeah. The studio they're in, I'm sure, was designed on computer.
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, they've already done cars. They've done global warming. Maybe golf clubs was third in their list of things they needed to use the supercomputer for. Because you can imagine, you know what golf people are like. They push themselves to the front.
They'd be livid. They had to wait their turn.
Yeah.
You've seen enough sitcoms and movies to know how impatient golfers get when they're waiting for people ahead of them who are slow.
Yes,
they're absolutely livid.
Yeah. Good point. So, I mean...
thank you.
Obviously, I don't have much to say about this, Mark. I don't think there is much to say about it. I mean, they use computers to design golf clubs.
Brilliant.
Kate's sadly messed this entire segment up. The only thing I would say...
Not deliberately. I think it's badly realised.
But why does she have such a complicated machine to play with?
That's not her fault. I doubt she chose that.
Why is it not just a regular video recorder? I don't know. Anyway.
VT, just add it in, spice it in.
Yes.
Add it in.
There is a development these days. You can get 3D printed. You get your own custom 3D printed golf clubs, Mark.
Okay.
So obviously you can't get the woods done that because you can't 3D.
Yeah, okay.
But you can get the irons because you can 3D print metal from powder.
I didn't know that.
So you could theoretically you could specify exactly what you want your clubs to be like, but it will cost tens of thousands of dollars or pounds for them to make you a set. So they really only the thing I read said this is really only for, you know, only a professional was going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a set of golf clubs. And I thought, well, I'm not so entirely sure. I mean,
well, professionals, they're not going to spend anything on. They're going to get them for free, and B, all the other golfers are going to spend tens of thousands. I refer you, of course, to Agnews Maxim.
Yeah. So presumably they're flying off the shelves these days. I didn't know much about it. And I did see some other claim that they're using AI to help them develop golf clubs. But I mean, I think that's probably just so they can burn through more resources.
Yeah, exactly.
They just tack AI on everything these days, don't they?
It's not nearly inefficient enough.
Just tack some AI. Just say it's AI. That's what everyone does, isn't it? I was thinking about this actually. Weird side note. Another thing I was reading about was the radium craze of the 1920s. Nothing to do with this programme. But it made me think of AI. Because do you know about the radium craze of the 20s?
Where everything had radium in it?
Yes. So in the 1920s, they discovered radium.
Including like glassware and stuff. Yeah, go on.
And before they realised it caused cancer, just everyone just went, let's put radium in everything because it's the new thing. And so they put it. I've got a list. They put a list here. They put it in toothpaste, hair cream, hemorrhoid cream, energy drinks, distilled water, crockery, and then loads of people started dying of cancer. And I just think it's so similar to me, like the AI thing, like in that AI has a use, but everyone's gone mad for it and they've put it in everything. And it's just going to cause, it's not going to cause cancer, but it's just going to cause some sort of disaster, isn't it? Mark my words, Mark. AI is the radium craze of the 21st century, 22nd century.
What's that,
21st century? 21st century.
We're in the 21st century now, yeah.
What I was going to say is, luckily Howard's here to give us a roundup.
Yeah.
To help us decide which one the fool is. So.
Okie dokie.
Bizarre, eh? Well, everything in today's programme has been a little bit on the strange side, some in ways even we haven't imagined. Each one could have been a product of our April Foolish imaginations. Well, it's now your chance to vote, so it's make your mind up time. You've seen the incredibly persistent golf caddy following me everywhere, and the perfect computer-designed club. We told you about lasers that blasted rockets into space.
And how to keep astronauts fed on their long tours of duty. The snails sensibly stayed firmly in their painted pens, thankfully avoiding being shot out of the Ratapult, the amazing madcap mousetrap.
There is a small car that can impersonate its sporty cousins. The NHS, it now seems, thinks laughter can be the best medicine. And in Sweden, trees that qualified for the finest hospital treatment. And finally, in the news this April, the first cashmere from sheep's wool, the incredible jogging caterpillar, and where the Earth's magnetic field likes to go every few 100,000 years. Quite a selection. But which do you think was the artificial item, the piece of simulated science? Well, using the latest in touchscreen technology, you can share your thoughts with us. On your television, right now, at home, there should be a list of all those items. And to vote, all you have to do is touch the box of the one you think was phony. OK? You've got 15 seconds to vote, starting from now. Start pressing those boxes. Vote now, less than 15 seconds. The computer-generated golf club is first to show, quickly followed by the mousetrap, perhaps not surprisingly. The space drinks also catching up very quickly with the computer-designed golf club. The tree X-rays also in it as well, but it looks it's between those four, and that's the end. OK, well, according to you, the viewing voter, the bogus bit of science is the machine that makes astronauts moonshine. Was it our April Fool?
Well, the inventors at Brunel University won't thank you for not taking their work seriously. It was 100% genuine.
In fact, all tonight's stories, yes, even the mousetrap, were true. But if you voted for any of them, you've been caught out.
Ah, gotcha! He got you, Mark. I saw you pressing. I saw you pressing the screen there. I saw you jabbing at your monitor.
As I said to you, Russell,
I
watched this on my iPad and it worked. So, joke's on you.
It's weird that they choose the space algae as the.
I know. I was thinking that actually. Yeah, it's like they should have gone. I mean, the space laser one would have been the right one, or I mean, the mousetrap. He even says the mousetrap is like, yeah, that would have been the one you'd have picked.
But no, that is a fun little.
Yeah.
Bit at the end, isn't it? I wonder whether they came up with that idea. That was the idea they came up with first, and then
I bet you so. Yeah, I bet you that's exactly what happened. Really. Yeah, they had a great wheeze, and then they built an episode around it.
Yeah, I mean,
he sells it nicely. Like, I really think he does a good job of completely straight-facedly.
Yeah, it's very convincing.
Doesn't claim the technology. Doesn't, as I say, doesn't do the thing that liars do, which is they try and add in. Well, I'm going to explain how it. No, it doesn't matter. We've invented it. It works. Just use it.
Yeah,
and then use.
The one time he has to lie, he's more convincing, Mark. What does that say about him?
Oh, my God.
But yeah, actually, the only reason I found this episode is because I saw somebody online reminiscing about this, about how they watched it when they were, I think probably when they were a kid or something, and how they got caught out and they tried jabbing the TV, and they remembered it ever since, and that's what made me that's what made me seek it out. So no, lovely. That certainly not squib worthy as far as I'm concerned, Mark.
No, not at all. It makes the whole episode. It means the whole episode has a point. Yeah.
Yes, ties it in a lovely little foolish bow.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's lovely.
Do you think? Sorry, I just popped in my mind. Do you think Mr. T is a big fan of April Fool's Day? Is he? I mean, he's probably the premier user of the word fool. So I just wonder whether or does he not like other people using his favourite word?
But he does pity them. So does he not find that day even more troubling for his soul?
He's doing so much pitying that day.
Yeah. Do you think anyone listening in or watching on YouTube, do you think they remember this episode and pressing excitedly leaping off the couch and pressing a button to vote?
If they do, you're an absolute idiot.
You plum.
That wouldn't have fooled me at all at the time, even when I was a child. Because but
you
anyway.
were 10, weren't you? Yeah. Oh no, 11. I found the episode really frustrating until the end, and it put a smile on my face.
Yes.
Because they really sell it. And though you are right, you have no concern with me at how well they have lied. But it did turn out that it was all true, Russ. It was all true except the end bit. So well done. I have to say, when you sent me the link and you said, "Oh, it's an April Fool's special," my heart did sink. Though I was thinking, "Oh, what nonsense is this?" It's like I didn't know what it would be. I was kind of envisaging something like that. Was it Nationwide, the spaghetti trees, and some just nonsense where you go like cringeworthy. And so actually, I think they do quite an elegant job.
Absolutely. Yep. Well done, team. I mean, there's only one thing to do. It really is, Mark. We have to officially decide how well they've done this using our official measuring auditing equipment.
You're damn right, Russ. You're damn right. All right, hang on. Let me just move over to my other desk. Should we start crunching the numbers?
Yep.
Okay, well, we got to put the year in context first, so Russ. So tell me the cinema box office for the 1st of April 1992.
At number 10, High Heels.
No, I've never heard of that.
It's by Pedro Almodovar.
Almodovar. Oh, I
didn't
love
know he was
Almodovar.
making films back then. Didn't know.
Okay.
I thought he was more of a modern director than that.
En película de Almodovar. He's got a new one coming out this year. I think it comes out in summer, but it's set at Christmas, which makes no sense. So,
number 9, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. This is the 3rd best Star Trek film, Mark. Number
after
8.
Nemesis and... no.
Number 8, My Own Private Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. Number 6, Free Jack.
Hey!
Number 5, Cuffs.
What? Puffs?
Cuffs. Kuffs. A film notable for... It's got Christian Slater and Mia Jovovich in it.
Okay.
And Mia Jovovich plays his pregnant girlfriend, but she was actually only 15 when they filmed it.
Jeez.
Probably wouldn't do that these days, would you? Probably
No, I don't
upon.
think so.
4, Necessary Roughness.
Okay.
Number 3, Bugsy.
Okay.
I don't know how many... I always think whenever I see that film, how many people accidentally rented that video thinking it was Bugsy Malone.
I think it was Bugsy Malone, yeah, or vice versa.
Yeah. Number 2, Deceived. And number 1, Cape Fear.
Oh, okay. Very good. What about the pop chart, Russ? Tell me about the pop chart.
Number 10, I Love Your Smile by Shanice.
Yep.
Number 9, Joy, Soul to Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Breath of Life, Erasure. Number 7, Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton. Number 6, Why, Annie Lennox. Number 5, Finally, CC Peniston.
Nice one, Russ.
Love that song.
Yeah.
Weird that, don't you think it's weird? I'm almost certain it's pronounced Peniston, like the town outside of Barnsley. But it's weird that her first name's not really CC, is it? So why did she not change her surname to a different stage name that doesn't contain the word?
Is her first name definitely not CC? Wasn't it CECE?
Yeah, no one's called that, are they?
Well, American might be.
You'd think, but why?
Yeah. Why not change it?
Yeah, to something that's not got the word penis.
You can't go around calling yourself Penis Town.
Well, I suppose it never did her any harm, did it? Because that is an absolute banger. Number 4, Deeply Dippy, Right Said Fred.
This, you are listing out the track listing from the Smash Hits Poe Winners Party double LP I bought this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Number 3, To Be With You, Mr. Big. Number 2, Let's Get Rocked, Def Leppard. And number 1, Stay by Shakespeare's Sister.
Very good.
My only issue with Shakespeare's Sister is the non-standard spelling of Shakespeare that they use in their band name. That annoys me.
What are you going to do about it, Ross? Don't tell me. What are you going to do about it?
Write an angry letter to that woman out of Bananarama who's in them.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't do the other one because she looks like she'd kill you. Advert, Russ. What advert have you got for me?
No, I'm delighted when I found this one, Mark, because this advert contains a lyric that has played in my head.
Wow. Okay.
For, what is it now, 34 years?
Yeah.
From cooks and cook 'em, bakers and burn 'em. Don't leave the loaves long, don't forget to turn 'em. Players from rugby, plumbers from Bath, polishers from Machine. Keep your television clean, painters from games, but try not to shake 'em. Better check the signature or you might have a fake in 'em. Babies from Crawley, tailors from Coatbridge. If they haven't got your size, you can let it out an inch. Potters from Potter's Bar, carpenters from Wood Green, builders from Hammersmith, anyone whose name is Smith. Farmers from Cows, Oxford and Barnsley. Please close the Ramsgate, keep them out of harm's way. Pet shops in Petswood, tilers from Tilehurst, photographers from Ilford. Don't forget to smile first.
Nationwide. With more branches than anyone else, we're the nation's building society.
Every time I've ever seen Ramsgate mentioned in any context, my brain has always gone, please close the Ramsgate, keep them out of harm's way. Every single time, Mark. Every single time.
That one. Yeah, I can see that.
34
And you couldn't remember what it was from?
I knew it was from that advert, but I didn't know what the advert was for, and I didn't know when it was from. I just had that lyric in my head.
Yeah.
So
No, that's what I meant. Like, you didn't know it was from. You couldn't picture it. You couldn't quite say, "Oh, it's from the Nationwide." Ad.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you must have been absolutely cock of the hoop.
Yeah.
Oh, well done, you. Magazine covers, Russ.
New Scientist, animal experiments in the dock. I wouldn't be pleased to see that caterpillar action, would they? If they're against that. Scientific American, the life cycle of drifting continents. Popular Science, the boat that flies. And I was thinking, well, that's not that thing. But then I was thinking, oh no, it's normally a plane that floats.
Yeah.
Boat that flies is actually Time magazine, the real power of vitamins. New research shows they may help cancer, heart disease, and the ravages of aging. See, I've only ever heard vitamins being described by doctors as expensive wee, so I don't know how true that is. They always say to just wee the vitamins out, don't they? That's what I've always heard anyway. 48 Times, hoax, classic deceptions, new theories. Private Eye is a very unusual front cover because it's all full cut. It's full colour like a glossy magazine.
Okay.
And it just says April Fools, and then it has... Because there's an election, Mark. It's just about.
I was about to say, there's an election in a month, yeah.
So it just has the spitting image puppets of John Major, Neil Kinnock, Paddy Pantsdown, and Ian Paisley on the front cover. It's just that.
Oh, okay.
But I suppose Ian Hislop used to write for spitting image, didn't he? So
that's true.
Maybe that's what's going on there. Viz also has an election special. There's a picture of Roger Melly presenting Question Time with Big Vern, Spoilt Bastard. I think is that Johnny Fart Pants, maybe? Not sure. And Playboy, Death in Our Schools. Playboy interviews Jonathan Kozol. The Girls of the Big Eight. The Sinister World of Charles Keating. I wondered who Charles Keating was.
He was the Prime Minister of Australia.
Well, no, he was also... Oh? In America, there's a Charles Keating who was an anti-porn activist, which proves why Playboy doesn't like him.
Ah.
But he was also done in the savings and loan scandal in the 80s.
Ah.
That's why he's on there. Yeah.
Okay, so they were keeping receipts.
Yep.
Well, there we go. And you read it for the interviews, of course.
Of course.
Well, let's audit, Russ. Let's audit the shiz out of this. Now that we know that all these things are true, what is the most important invention we saw today? We saw a lot, actually.
We saw a lot.
Amount. Yeah.
And weirdly, a lot of them are still around in some way or other.
Yeah. With a couple of exceptions, yeah.
Important in terms of currently, because I mean, obviously, I think, if laser spacecraft take off, then...
Well, that was the one I was saying, we can bin that one off.
But in terms of currently in the world, I think the two ones that are being most used are probably the wood scanner, or the car audio.
Yeah, more than expected, actually. I do also, laughter therapy is also something that is around as well. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same as you, and I think most important. See, I always think that the word important is quite key. I don't know, maybe none of them are important, I suppose. I think I'd agree with you. Let's say it's split between the car and the wood scanning. But maybe the wood scanning is more important because actually, sustainability and efficiency and so on and so forth. Most worthless invention. I would be tempted to... the Ratipult. Yeah. I was going to say between that and the laser thing, just because in the absence of knowing that it's part of the Department of Defense's black budget skunk works in Area 53, we have to assume it hasn't made the cut, unfortunately. But it's got to be the Ratipult, right?
Yeah, because it doesn't even work when they demonstrate it.
No. I did like your observation there, where Carmen obviously clearly didn't grow up playing with toy cars because she doesn't realise that you just pull it back and let it go. She pulls it back and pushes it, and like she's kind of warming it up or something. Most inaccurate prediction of the future? Well, not to belabor the point, but Dr. Myalgia or whatever did not deliver his payload in 3 to 5 years. Rolling 3 to 5 years. As Josie will testify, there's barely anything that winds me up more than being on a train platform where the train is delayed and every single minute it passes, the delay in the train is 1 minute more, and it absolutely winds me up. Tell me what, don't you know? Anyway, yeah. So the idea is like a rolling 5 years away. It amuses me, but also frustrates. Okay, then worst screw up. it's an episode chock full of mushmouth errors and kind of just snafus and failures.
I think Kate's segment is rendered almost unwatchable by how badly that goes.
I did ask you to skip through it just because it is tortuous. This is the supercomputer golf one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mercifully it's the last one, but like, I feel sorry for it. Like, it's just this episode is not bad, and because it's not like no one screwed up. I suspect. I mean, there are 12 things they're demonstrating. I think 6 or 7 of which are in the studio. My suspicion is they just simply didn't have enough time to rehearse.
Yeah,
and this is what you're seeing. And because even things like if you'd rehearsed properly, you would know not to rely on some kind of archaic VCR. You would play in the clips as part of the VT package, but they didn't. So yeah, I think Kate at the end there, unfortunately, she has to take the brunt of it, but it's not her fault. Best attempt at making something boring interesting?
Well, a Citroen AX is quite a boring car, Mark. So is piping the roaring sounds of a Porsche engine into it, making it boring, and it's a boring car interesting.
I like that one. I would counter. My suggestion would be the segment on turning wool into cashmere, where they drag a taxidermy goat along in the background.
Oh yeah. That's the one, Mark. Yeah, that's the one.
That's going to win my vote every day of the week. Best use of music. I mean, does it have to be The Power by Snap?
Oh, it makes sense. I mean, the Porsche has the power. You know, it makes sense. Yeah. Oh, interestingly, what was weird in that segment as well is that they show the Porsche. They have like a traffic light Grand Prix. With the Citroen and the Porsche next to each other, lights, and the Porsche pulls away from the lights very slowly and calmly. It doesn't. Surely the point of that should be you just go.
You're supposed to be hearing what your car can't do.
Yeah, but they just don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a really weird thing to do. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. I have to say. Yeah, I like that. Best or worst use of furniture?
I was thinking about this. Can we count the furniture nailed to the ceiling in order for Kate to pull off her rose at the beginning of the programme?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Fool us all into thinking she's standing up the correct way.
Oh, yeah, we were all fooled. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, at the very least, the computer screen is on the table. So, I'm happy with that one. Most notable clothing. I did like Howard's belt. But I think Carmen's catsuit is very unusual. It is pretty world. Tremendous, yeah. Very. You don't get many velvet catsuits to the pan these days, so well done her. Did we see anything in the episode that made it through to the future?
Yeah, loads.
Yeah,
we saw
remarkably
golf trolley, yes. Artificial cashmere, yes. Love therapy, yes. Laser powered flight, a bit almost.
It made it into some of the future, but not all the way.
Space algae, yes. Scanning wood, yes.
Yeah.
Mousetrap, no, good. Magnetic sphere hasn't changed yet. Snail paint, kind of. Car sounds, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much almost everything, right?
Yeah, everything, yeah.
Brilliant. And what does this episode tell us about the 1st of April 1992?
They're having a daft laugh, Marv. They've got confidence.
Braggadocio.
Yeah, everyone's having fun. There's plenty of stuff around. A good variety of things to talk about.
Cock of the walk in their pomp. I'd agree with that. Money to burn, apparently. And then we have our list of tropes here. So, any presenters having to speak over louder sounds?
Yeah, Howard does in the car.
That's true. He literally does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been drowned out by the engine.
There was no niche bicycle invention. There was nothing to do with oil rigs. Any suspiciously obvious brand names in the ad-free BBC? I can't think of any.
No brand.
I'm not even sure they say transit. I think they just say white van. They're very... Yeah. Clear and blatant lying, Russ?
Well, I mean, the fool at the end is kind of lying, but I actually think the biggest lie is Judith saying that they were going to take the snail paint to a snail.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is
after
just...
the programme to a snail
That is clear and blatant lying. That's what that is,
just,
yeah.
That's not true. She's not going to do that at all.
That's not true at all. The only casual sexism I can remember is the clip you showed me of the ICSI, which they, of course, name a he, because obviously no golfer would be seen with a female caddy. But that doesn't count, because that is an addition to the show, not the show itself. I don't think there was anything particularly sexist in this, which is good.
No.
Lab space filled with darkness and stark coloured lights. I mean, the studio was.
Yeah.
That never really quite... I think the thing about that to me is it always has to be...
An external lab, really, yeah.
Somebody else's lab
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody else's lab that they've deliberately lit.
Yeah, that no one would ever use. There were no Dutch angles, no item presented from a gantry, There were a couple of dad jokes from Howard, weren't there?
Howard's on great form today.
Yeah, the episode does not end in a damn squib. Quite the opposite. Woodard and McCann abroad or common in a small European town. Not this week. Lasers, Russ.
Oh, absolute orgy of laser.
Bosh. Any magnets?
Well, the Earth's magnetic field.
Oh, yeah. Of course, the biggest magnet of all. There were no boats. Baxter didn't bugger off, and they didn't travel to Shepherd's Bush. So I think that is a full audit. The only thing left for me to say, as always, is that there are 1,409 episodes of Tomorrow's World ever broadcast, Russell. We have now covered 62 of them, which leaves a scant 1,347 episodes left for us to audit. That means we have successfully audited 4.40028388889 episodes, Russ, leaving us a barely measurable 95.59971611% left to coverage, which means we are still currently on course to conclude our audit by March 2142. So,
wow. I reckon by then, Mark, they will definitely have cracked laser-powered flight.
No, 5 years away, Russ.
Well, Mark, I've got to go now. Because I've just received an email from the incoming new Director General of the BBC.
Oh.
You might know he was some sort of bigwig in technology. He used to work for Google. You know, it says, Dear Russ, I want to bring Tomorrow's World back. With you as presenter.
But did you mention me?
Signed.
What?
Signed new Director General of the BBC. April Fool, Mark. April Fool.
Oh my God, you got me real good.
I got you.
Oh my God. Oh, what a journey I went on.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it from us, really. Wonder what fun May will bring. And until then, goodbye from us. And if you are on the internet, we will see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, friends. Bye-bye.
Happy April the 1st. Until next week's Tomorrow's World. Good night.